But yeah, speaking of Tekken, it's probably going to end up being 2 videos now on YouTube. But like, you took a break, you came back. I'm still on my break, and you've come back. How? In fact, you know what? I'm going to present you with actually a clear thought. Last time we spoke, like word to word, face to face, so to speak, was the end of season 1. Season 2 was about to come out, and we were talking about it. And you said something at the time where there are very few people who make me reconsider my opinions. You're one of them in Tekken, and you said something that I was like, I can't believe you said this, because you could see all the flaws in Tekken 7, even season 1. And what you said was, I think Tekken 8 has the potential to be the best Tekken game we've ever had. And I remember those words coming out of your mouth and thinking, you're fucking crazy. But you're like, listen, I'm not an idiot, right? I see all the flaws. We've spent the past 4 hours. I see all the flaws, but I can see this being the best version. And I couldn't believe you said that, right? But at the same time, I knew you wouldn't say something like that wildly, right? But this was, of course, before season 2 and before everything that's happened. I guess my first question when we're talking about Tekken is this. Do you still feel the same way? Or has your hope for this entry dimmed?
Kind of both. Yeah, both of those things are true. Because I still feel like, yes, this game absolutely has the potential to be the best Tekken we've ever had. No question. And we have evidence of that with Armor King and now with Miyazu. They're very well balanced characters. We got a fucking waifu in the game now that isn't just super crazy good movement, super crazy good everything. Like the punishment is fantastic, the evasion is fantastic. There's no weakness to this fucking character. This isn't she's not another Anna Lydia bullshit character. She's a genuine Tekken character. Like I haven't seen a character this well balanced since like Tekken 7 season 4 pretty much. So to be honest, and Armor King is very similar. Now Fakamra, everybody seems to think that guy is well balanced. I just labbed the fuck out of him the other day. I think the video's coming up for him tomorrow. I'm pretty sure. And I started the initial video with kind of going into it like, yeah, Fakamram's great. He's in a good spot where he seems pretty balanced. And then I'm labbing him. And then the chat's telling me stuff about him. And then I'm labbing that stuff. And then we're going through all the sequences. And then more and more shit piles up. And I'm like, okay, fuck, maybe we jumped the gun here. Maybe people aren't labbing this guy enough because he is a mental stack on top of a mental stack on top of a mental stack. So yes, he's risky. Yes, he's super punishable. But holy fuck, does he lay it on thick in terms of giving so much for your opponent to consider when playing against this character. And it's already an impressive game as it is with Tekken 8. So I don't see how Fakamra is a reasonable character.
Buff, again, this is why I say you are my favorite labber. Listen, when this character first came out, I said exactly what you're saying now. The consensus was, because I think the main man initially came out and said, yeah, perfectly balanced character. And whenever the main man says something, it kind of becomes law for like the first couple of weeks, right? And I remember being like, and the people coming into my chat, I was labbing. I'm like, this character seems really strong, right? And they were like, no, everyone's saying the consensus is if anything, he's mid to weak was the consensus, right? Mid to weak. And I was like, I think you guys have been snuffing too much of stance offense plus frame bullshit. And because he doesn't have that, you're automatically assuming that he's weak. But like, no. This character has great range. He's able to enact his game plan from further away than most people in this game, right? He is full of knees and elbows. So even if you do have a lot of defensive techniques, they're not going to help you dealing with the mix-ups he's going to have. And the variations that he can do on these mix-ups are pretty damn strong. So actually, you're right. You can't just pick him up and button mash. This isn't a player who like a red rank is going to be able to fucking mash their way to God of Destruction by just abusing plus frames. That's true. But if you know how to play Tekken, this guy's going to be extremely dangerous. Like, if you know how to play real Tekken, you know how to whiff punish, you know how to set up things, you know how to move, like, he's going to be a real threat. And I remember saying this at the time, and people were like, you don't know what you're talking about, right? And then, like, now, like, maybe, how long has it been? Like, months later, people have been like, oh, yeah, maybe now that the pros are using him at the level that I was talking about, people are like, oh, yeah, actually, perhaps he's stronger than we thought. I'm like, you motherfuckers! Like, you motherfuckers! It was obvious. It was obvious, because he has the things that a real Tekken character could make use of. Range is a really powerful tool because it makes you hard to move around, right? And like, yeah, he can't just like do riskless mix-ups, but like you said, the number of things you have to consider at any given time, at any given range, is like makes him kind of irresistible. Like you can't cover all of his options at all of his ranges, which makes defending against him really fucking hard.
Oh, it's incredible. Like the mental stack involved with just defending, just blocking that character. You're not even doing anything. You're literally holding the back button and watching him do his shit. and that's already creating. Okay, what am I like? What is the next thing I could? Oh, I'm dead. What the fuck? Like, what happened? He does so much damage. Yes, he's very risky, but like I was watching a FDX video about him the other day, and he laid it out so perfectly because I had just labbed the guy. I had just had this thought, and then FDX makes this video, and he just says he 100% just clarifies exactly what I was already thinking, because the damage this guy does for simple down 4, for example, is basically a homing low, long fucking range, almost impossible for Kazuya at max range can't punish that fucking move. I get a while standing 4 for that shit. So, and it's a -15 on block low. I should be able to twin pistons it, but because twin pistons is such shit range, I can't launch a lot of -15 lows. That's one of the ones that is really, really hard to deal with. A lot of characters have problems dealing with that low. But by the time you eat 3, 4 of them, you're dealing with
you've dealt with half a combo's worth of damage, maybe 3/4 of a combo's damage.
Fucking 30 damage a hit. It's insane. This fucking low, right? Like the damage this guy does is off the fucking charts. So, and that's just for his pokes.
I was saying
these are basic fucking pokes.
I was saying this before. Again, you can go back and watch my video when the character first came out. I was like, this low is similar to Feng's down back 3, in that it is a low with great range and tracking, such that you have to respect it at all, or you have to be ready for it at all times, right? Yes, it's launch punishable, right? So he has to be smart about it. But the fact that he can come out at any time means that you always have to be. The existence of that low is a buff to all his mids, because like you can only ignore it for so long, right? Even if you decide, oh, I'm just going to eat as many of them as possible, actually you can't take that game plan, because you will lose half your health like if you do that. So at some point you probably do have to duck, but if you duck at the wrong time, and more often than not you will, you just eat his like fucking his mids. And
his mids are super strong. And he doesn't even have to take risks, because he can mix that massive low with his standing
with a lower
3.
one. So exactly. So he can use a less risky low to get a sense of your tendencies, right? And then deploy the low at the right. This is what I'm saying. This is like, if you know how to play Tekken mind games, this character was always like, there's something here. Always.
The biggest strength that he has right now is he has by far the most range in the game of all characters. Like nobody can fucking approach this
it's
guy.
crazy.
It's huge.
The only competition is maybe Clive in terms of range. Right?
Definitely. With the sword, absolutely.
But you're right. It's those two are in a tier of their own in terms of like who can enact their game plan from further away. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. You got Fakamra's standing 3 versus Clive's back 2. Like who's going to do the move first, basically? Who's going to put them in the blender first? But I'd like to watch a couple of pros, Clive versus Fakamra, and see how that would go down. That sounds interesting.
That'd be a unique matchup for sure. That'd be so weird.
I hate Clive, and I don't really have a lot of nice things to say about Fakamra, but I'd watch this shit match. That'd be cool.
It'd be interesting. But to return to the question, right? Because like, so to summarize what I think you said, it's like you stand by your statement, like, hey, this game has the potential to be the best game we've ever had. That was true. That is true. But I suppose, I guess the second part of my question is like, okay, but where are you in terms of hopes that it will get there?
Well, Armor King and Miyazu have both given me more hope, because they're so well designed characters.
Sure.
And I honestly, I've labbed them both to death, and I can't really find anything like, they're both really strong, but they're not like unreasonable, and that's the word I've been using a lot lately. Is how reasonable is the counterplay to specific characters? Like, yes, guess what? Everybody who's watching this, I can't read your chat right now, but guess what? Everybody who's watching this and everyone who will watch this in the future, there exists counterplay for every single character, for every fucking move in this game, period. It exists. Is it all reasonable though?
Right.
Fuck no, a lot of it is not.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where you find the defenders of the broken bullshit characters like Hwoarang, for example. Those players are out of their fucking mind batshit nuts because they think that that's a reasonable character. Totally. It's not. He's the most unreasonable character in the game right now.
Ooh,
and this is
hold on. Like, the most?
Yes.
Wow.
His counterplay is the most
like what he demands of you.
Game.
Yeah, you could make that argument. That's probably true. I'm trying to think of who. Okay, he's definitely up there. I'm trying to think of, if I want to challenge you on Hwoarang, who would I say has the less reasonable counterplay? But you might be right. It might be Hwoarang. Yeah, I was gonna say Clive and Anna were the ones that came to mind. But I see your point. But even them, it's like in some ways they almost have less counterplay. But Hwoarang has counterplay, but it is unreasonable. Like why is this high option not launch punishable? Like why when I duck it I can't punish it? Like stuff like that. Like this seems crazy. So the counterplay is like to risk your life, and if you're right, get a while standing 4. That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right.
Okay, so Hwoarang's gonna fucking do his right flamingo stance 4-3 and put me into +4. So my option here, my best option, is to sidestep right into block.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna sidestep right block. Then he does the jab. That I don't care the damage, right? I care about the frames and what can you then do with the setup that the jab's allowing you to implement. This jab is +7 on hit, +5 on block.
Yeah.
And it recovers lightning fast speed. So you can sidestep right block and you get nothing if he throws out the jab.
Yeah.
So where is okay, I'm going to stand there and block now. Okay, I eat the jab on block. Now I have to take another mix-up.
Yeah.
Okay, what if I sidestep right into immediate jab punish? Well, guess what? That loses to down 3-4, which is scary as fuck. Yeah. That loses to the fucking hop kick that launches you. That loses to down 4 on counter hit. Like it's ridiculous how much shit you have to
when you map up the decision matrix of, okay, I've been put in this situation, what are my options, what are his options? It's like you're so in the red every time. It's like you're risking so much more than he is. And even if you guess quote unquote right, the reward you're getting in comparison to how much of your health you risked to make that call is just like, this is not good. Like I can only win so many of these coin flips. Like at a certain point, I'm going to lose this bet.
Exactly. And we go back to mental stack, talking about what we talked about with Fakamra. It's the exact same thing with Hwoarang. I think it's more egregious with Hwoarang, but Fakamra is right up there with him. I gotta be honest. Like the standing 3 sequences, he can just put you in that blender and you have no idea what he's gonna do. It's it's really, really crazy. And the fact that, for example, like the standing 3, again with Fakamra briefly, I just want to talk about it. Standing 3 into like 3-4-4 is the mid kick, long range mid kick, homing move kick, right? Okay. And yes.
Oh yes. Yeah, I remember this one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a high. You can duck and launch it. Cool. But he also has mid.
Yes, the mid, right?
So you don't want to fucking ever duck that shit, right? So okay, you don't want to duck that, you don't want to launch it, and especially since he's got 3-4-3, he's got 3-4. Those are both options that will kill you if you duck. Fair enough. So what's the counterplay here? Well, stand guard is a good idea, but then you're -3 in crouch position, which means if you try to mash him while standing 4 to get some offense, his standing 3 will then beat out your while standing 4 and put you right back into that fucking blender again. So you are at way more fucking risk, and that's just fucking wrong.
Yeah.
And with Hwoarang, it's 10 times worse. You
have to worry
about getting launched. You have to worry about getting power crushed. You have to worry about fucking just eating more and more plus frames and getting your life bar deleted by the fucking chip damage that exists in this stupid game. Like Hwoarang is the most unreasonable character in the game with the most unreasonable counterplay, and I will challenge fucking I will challenge K-Wiz to fucking death on that. I don't give a fuck.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. No, I think I was literally trying to think of characters who I think would compete, but I don't think there are some you could have in the conversation. But yeah, Hwoarang would probably win. And it's not even necessarily that he's the most overpowered character. And not even necessarily the best. But just like, what are you as a defender supposed to do against their options? Yeah, it's kind of it's poorly designed, to say the least.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I hear that. But then again, to go back to the central question, then could be the best game, isn't the best game, but there is clear evidence that at least the people making design decisions now seem a lot more, let's say, conservative than the ones that came before. They were at least, you can tell that the people who were making decisions before their primary thought was, how much fun is it to do to people? Whereas you can tell that people thinking now are taking the more classic approach. Is like, okay, this is a great move. How do you defend against it? Like every move has to be designed with the defense in mind. And you can tell that every move in this game is like, well, because this move's a counter hit launcher, we'll make it sidestable to both sides. Because it's this, we'll make it a high. You can constantly tell that they are constantly thinking, powerful thing, here's a weakness. Powerful thing, here's a weakness. Yes. Right. Here's the issue though.
Multiple weaknesses.
Multiple. Yeah.
In Tekken classically, it's not just one thing to beat this thing.
Yeah.
No, you have 2, sometimes 3, 4 options to beat this fucking move that's otherwise super fucking cheap if it hits you. For example, like Kazuya's Hell Sweep. Everybody hates that move, but you can block it and kill him. Literally, he dies for 1 block, and if you sidewalk it left, he's dead. He's
dead either way. Yeah, so that is a classic pillar of like Tekken 8 design. Yeah, exactly. There should be multiple ways to get around a thing. But I guess go on.
My take. I'm sorry, I keep getting away from the question.
No, go. It's important. What just happened? What just happened? Don't worry about it. What just happened? That's what this is about.
Yeah, exactly. We're just having fun. But yeah, so the classic Tekken concept is at least two things to defeat this move. Sometimes 3 or 4 if you're lucky. But a lot of the time in Tekken 8, you have one option if you're lucky, and it's not even very good. Like I was labbing Clive yesterday on stream, and his what the fuck is the string again? It's it's forward 2-2-1, forward 2-2-2.
Is that the mid high into something?
It's mid. Okay. And it's -9 on block if you do the 1. It's also a guard break if you hold it. That's his heat string. And then he also has a sword slash from that string, but it's -13 on block. And the counterplay is if he goes for the guard break, you sidestep at the last minute and you try to punish him for it. The problem is that guard break has tracking to both sides. So if you try to sidestep at the last frame because you don't want to get hit by the mid when it's not charged up, so you wait and see, he's not charging it, okay, I'm just going to block. Oh, he is charging it, okay, I'm going to sidestep at this last moment, otherwise I risk eating the mids, but you still get fucked up and launched for it. Cool, so okay, what do I do now? If you hold your guard, then the sword is -13, but it's also a heat engager. So if he's in heat, which he has to be for this sequence to even exist at all, then he can just turn that into +5 on block heat dash. So that's completely safe. Yeah. The other thing is -9 on block. You can't do anything against that except like a jab, a punch parry in between or something. So the only counterplay, the only consistent counterplay for this entire sequence, and it's not even consistent because I'll finish it off at the end with something that beats it, is power crush through all 3 options. He can charge it up, he can not charge it up, or he can use the sword. Those are the 3 things that he can do with forward 2-2-1, forward 2-2-2, forward 2-2-1, hold it, right? You can power crush all 3 of those options. But if he does forward 2-2 block, and you go for the power crush to try to beat that shit up,
he's blocking that shit. Yeah.
It's fighting Clive, right?
That's
not reasonable counterplay. Power crush is bullshit. First of all, it's a lazy garbage gimmick mechanic. It shouldn't fucking exist to begin with. Having that be the only way to beat a sequence in this game is pathetic game design.
Yeah,
that's
Clive labbing Clive. You'll notice one of my last videos on my channel playing Tekken or labbing Tekken was the anti-Clive video. Because when Clive came out, I kind of dismissed him. Like, this is trash. I don't like it. But I didn't do the work. I didn't lab. So I was like, you know what? I'm coming back to season 2. I'm going to play for a bit. Let me actually do the work and lab him. And the more I lab this character, the more fucking angry I got. So I was like, what are you supposed to do here? Again, like you were saying with Hwoarang, I'm like, okay, the answer that you seem to want me to do is horseshit. Like I am taking on way more risk than they're doing. This isn't fun. Who made this? Like, why did the person who made this clearly had no thought for the defender? They just thought like, we want a character who does cool looking stuff and it'll be fun to do. And there was clearly no thought for the defender. But again, like to move on to the next part of the question, I suppose, is like, okay, the fact that new characters have come out, you can tell that the people designing them have thought about the defenders, right? And so now the real offenders aren't new characters, it's the old characters, right? And it seems clear that like moves need to be removed. Do you know what I mean? Like there are certain moves I'm like, the existence of a mid option at all makes this unreasonable, right? Do you know what I mean? Or the existence of this option at all is toxic.
I have felt that way many times.
Go on.
But can you just for an example's sake?
Sure.
Do you have an example just to share?
For me personally, the example I will go to, and you will smile, and I have to admit this, I think Leo is the one that comes to mind the most. There are, I hate to admit this, right? Because for all of my Tekken career, people have been like, Leo's secret top tier. Leo's amazing. I'm like, no, you just don't know the matchup. No, Leo's secret top tier. And then for the first time in my Tekken career, it actually became true. Like season 2 Leo is unreasonable. It's fucking unreasonable, right? And so now all the people be like, see, I told you. I'm like, no, it's different. Now what you're saying is true. But it wasn't back then. I promise you. Even back in season 1, it wasn't like this, right? But dude, now.
Leo was fine in Tekken 6 and Tag 2 and everything. Like, Leo was fine.
Leo definitely had obnoxious options, but not above the perp. But in season 2, this is crazy. And so I think to go back to like options that shouldn't exist, I think K&K is a great example because it's a contained stance. If I press forward 4, I am plus what in your face? Like plus 8, right? Plus 9.
9.
Right?
Plus 9. So
I've done nothing to earn it. Therefore, the options I get out of that mix shouldn't be that strong. I think that's common sense, right? If I'm going to have those plus frames, my ability to threaten you shouldn't be that strong. My argument is that actually K&K became toxic the moment they introduced K&K 3+4. You know, the low sweep, the hell sweep?
Oh, fuck yeah.
That was season 7. But I was like, even back then I was like, this is a little bit too far above the pale. Because why am I getting a hell sweep mix for making you block on mid? Like that doesn't seem right? And it tracks, right? So it doesn't have like the multiple option thing. And now the introduction of 1-4, the plus on block option that I can transition into block, I was like, this.
Oh fuck.
I was like, this is not. This stance is not healthy. The mental stack is crazy. And of course I can just do forward 4 and then cancel it into nothing. Or cancel it into another forward 4. And I'm like, there is no solid, reliable counterplay. And like you are risking, and anything that you would do to beat the options, the aforementioned options, is probably going to get you killed if I just cancel and do nothing. And so I think for me, there are many other examples too, but that's just the one that comes to mind because obviously I know the character. Like that's the one that I go, okay, let's say we're going to fix Leo now. Okay, let's say our goal is to fix Leo. I go, okay, in order to fix Leo, we might just have to remove options from K&K. Like, or you keep them, but then you make them useless. Because let's say he has 1-4, the high. If it's not plus, why would I ever do it? Right? Yeah, so at a certain point, you either need to remove it or keep it high, but then make it like -8 on block. I'm like, I'm never doing that move. And so we're just adding to the Tekken blow. So actually, just remove the move at a certain point. Another option, a lot of thing that people debate is, what's it called? Block 3+4, right? The low at a block, right? A lot of people feel that there should be no low at a block. And that one, I'm willing to defend, not in its current state, but I'm willing to defend like, there is a safe high launching mid from that stance. If you're going to have a low, it should be bad. It should be a bad low. If you're going to put a low, it should be like, it should do less than a hell sweep's damage and still be minus like $1 billion, right? You know, it should be a low that you only do, I don't know how to put it. At the very least, it should be launch punishable. How are you going to have a hell sweep low and a safe launching mid? Either the mid needs to be super risky or the low needs to be super risky and low reward. Do you know what I mean? And that seems like common sense.
No, I totally agree. But the thing I think they could fix about that low, they don't even have to worry about the damage. The damage is only 20 damage. It's not that bad. It's -13 on block, so it's reasonable on block.
Sure.
If you do block, the issue is the defeater to Leo going into buck stance. Typically, when Leo goes into buck, like with forward 3 is +2 on block, right? So a lot of good players will transition in buck from forward 3 on block because it's +2 into buck. So you're at plus frames and you're crushing the next high if they try to jab check you. So it's a great option. The defeater to that is sidestep right block. Right?
Yeah.
So that's how you take care of pretty much that entire stance. But Leo still has options with buck 3, which is a homing high +5 on block. Does chip damage, guarantees a follow-up on regular hit. Wall splats, like a fucking amazing move of the character. I think the character's okay to have that because it is slow.
It's actually one of my favorite moves in the whole game. But yeah, exactly what you mean.
A good move. Yeah. I spam that shit and I got Tekken King in like half an hour.
It's godlike. Yeah,
it's amazing. But that's you beat that stance with sidestep right block every time. Doesn't matter if they go into it at minus frames, then you interrupt them and you beat it every time. Fair enough. The issue is with that low, it defeats the entire defeater of that stance because it tracks to both sides. It's homing. You cannot step that fucking thing. I even tested it with fucking Lily.
No, you're not stepping it. You're not stepping it. Yeah.
So So it's just, you cannot sidestep. That's what I would get rid of. I'd say if it can remain +2 on hit, it can remain -13 on block, but it shouldn't track at fucking all to any direction. That would be a good fix to that.
But what we're hinting at here is that there's a lot of, in order for this game to get into a state that we would feel happy with it, like there's a lot of not cosmetic surgery, there's a lot of reconstructive surgery that needs to happen. Like there are certain moves that need to be removed, or there are certain options, like there's a lot of work. And I think my big fear is this. This game, I think, has been successful Tekken 8 for Bandai Namco. I think it's making a lot of money. I think they are making more money per user than they were in Tekken 7 because there's just more stuff to buy, right? So even if 80% of the player base isn't buying stuff, if even 5% of them are whales, then they're making more money, right? So, and I'm pretty sure I saw data that more people are playing this game than were playing Tekken 7. Perhaps not as many more as they would have liked, but more. So my point is that a part of me thinks that, yeah, people like us, fucking nerds who spend way too much time on this fucking game, we are complaining about various things. But if it is a success from their perspective, financially, business-wise, is there really an incentive in doing all of the tweaks that you and I would want? And I keep going back and forth. The part of me goes like, maybe the Season 3 patch will be the coming to Jesus that we all want. Or maybe it'll be the confirmation that actually we're perfectly happy with this as it is. Here are some new moves. Here's a new wall bounce is back. And I'm like, oh no. You know what I mean? Like, I could totally see them doing that.
Real quick, bro. Hold that thought. I just gotta use a washroom, but I gotta
no worries.
Question. Re-ask me that in a
second. Yeah, we'll do. Give me 1 second. No worries. Those of you in the chat, ask your questions away. I haven't been ignoring you, but I can't split my attention between conversation and chat. What do you think? For Honor, still played to this day. Tekken is still holy land compared to that game. Listen, For Honor, I'll love For Honor. You know what? I was briefly considering, yo, this is gonna become a For Honor channel. I'm gonna go back. What you know about Nobushi? What you know about my Nobushi? Come see my Nobushi, bro. Come see me. What you know about Viper's Retreat, son? What you know about that? Fucking love For Honor. For Honor was sick. I might play some For Honor on stream, actually. That game was a good game. Underrated. Or maybe appropriately rated, I guess. But yeah, if you got any questions, let me know. What y'all thinking? How y'all feeling? And also, anyone in the chat, let me know. What are your place over and under? What do you think is going to happen Season 3? Are you hopeful for Season 3? Or are you like, nah, Season 3, nothing's coming? Is Season 3 going to be the big one? Like, it's going to fix it? Or it's going to do a lot of good shit? Or is Season 3 just like, nah, nothing's coming, bro? You're getting wall bounce. Season 3, you're getting wall bounce. New tactics. What do you think? Hopeful or nah? We coping or nah? Orochi Lifespan? Yo, I didn't have to worry about that. I was on PC. I lost my hope along. Yo, aggressive pixel. You out here playing rhythm games. You're fine. They should add defensive options. But Steezy, have we not been saying that since Season 1? Have we not been saying that since early Season 1? They should add defensive options. We've been saying that since Season 1. The question is, will they? You're right, they should, but will they? Yeah, Frame Whisper said the older players are being pushed out, and it's true because they're making the money. If I was a businessman, I'd be like, who gives a fuck what Frame Whisper thinks? Who gives a fuck what fucking Chad the Third thinks? Who gives a fuck? I'm making money. You know what I mean? I can't pay rent with respect. You know, I can't pay respect. I can't pay rent with like kudos. Increase sidestep backdash. No point changing the formula when it's working. That's my point. That's my fear. Why, Jen? Is it everything we're saying comes from a position that is assuming that the current game isn't good? But if they're looking like, no, well, look, the metrics are saying it's so good. So why would we change anything? If it gets good, then nice. Maybe I'll jump back in. But at this point, I don't really care if it gets better or not. I hear it. That's probably the healthiest place to be aggressive, to not be in that. That's kind of where I am. Like I'm kind of an outside looking in. I'm ready to jump back in the pool, but it needs to get warmer first. That's my view. Tell Buff Guy, I love him. I start to watch his lab videos for a few days now. Amazing. There you go. One of my longtime subscribers, Jerry Mango, says you're amazing.
Oh, thanks. Who's that?
Jerry Mango. No, but I honestly, anyone who watches my stuff, because a lot of people came to my stuff for like tutorials and lab stuff, and obviously I'm not doing that shit anymore. I genuinely recommend go check out the Buff Guy, because you're pretty much going through like every character at this point, right? Like every time I log on, there's another character.
Yeah, I want to make a video per character. I might make multiple. We'll see. Per character. There's some characters that need multiple.
Yeah, videos, for sure.
But,
yeah.
Like I could cover Heihachi and Kazuya in one video each, no problem. But somebody like Clive might need like 6. Yeah. So, you never know. But So, like, to go back to your question, do you think it's worth the devs changing the things that
exactly.
changed?
Do you think? I guess what I'm really asking is, and we don't know this, so we're just speculating. How do you think the devs see the game? Do they see the game as like it's a mess right now competitively? We've got to sort it out. In which case, season 3 will probably be a buff. Or do you think they're like, nope, it's a success? Like, yeah, people, the loudest voices are the complaining voices, but we've got a couple 100,000 people playing every day. We're making lots of money. Like, this is a success. What is your, again, we don't know, what's your hunch say?
I think we've reached a healthy medium now, finally. I think I'd say just before Armor King came out, just recently, because, okay, we see that they dropped that fucking bust size improvement patch. Like, that was a fucking, but they increased the size of the chick's tits and all this garbage.
It's important. It's important stuff.
Fixed Asuka's neck. Okay, aesthetics for the Gooners, whatever. That's 100%. Fine. I don't care. But then they release Armor King, and wow, this character's actually got a lot of counterplay. This is actually a really well balanced character. Wow, and now they released Miarizu. She's got a lot of counterplay, well balanced character. Has clear, obvious weaknesses. Is not constantly throwing you in a blender, and she's a waifu. So here's the thing. They're obviously trying to course correct. The ship is way the fuck off course, and they're trying to slowly turn it very inch by inch in this. It's it's 1,000 fucking foot long ship. Sure. They're turning it full inches by inches here and there every couple of weeks, right? But it's on a slow course correction, and I think that there's evidence to support the idea that season 3 is going to be good. I think there's more evidence now to say safely that season 3 is probably going to be pretty good compared to the amount of evidence we had before season 2 came out to say that was going to be good.
Right. Yeah.
There's more pointing in a positive direction. I think the characters changing and being more healthy for the game since the development team got switched out, right? Like basically since Fakamra has come out.
Yeah.
I think he is a byproduct of the old team, and now the new team is showing what they can do, and they're releasing Armor King and Miarizu, and they're the ones responsible for those characters being so healthy.
But I would even say Fakamra is Fakamra is stronger than we think. I don't think Fakamra is broken though. So I would say even Fakamra, like, you're always going to have some characters who are above the power curve, right? You're always going to have a top tier. So I would even go as far as say that Fakamra is like healthy. Yes, on the upper end, right? And could probably use some work going down. But like, the community was never under the assumption that every character should be balanced. They just shouldn't be designed by a mad person. And like Fakamra doesn't seem like it was designed by a mad person. It's like, okay, you maybe went a little bit too far here, maybe, but like within reason. We're gonna boycott the game over this. So I would actually include even Fakamra in characters who seemed decently well designed. I would say the start of the better design start with him, even if we can point to issues here.
Yeah. Okay. I can. I don't personally agree after labbing him the other day, but I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe I have bad taste in my mouth from labbing him recently, but it very well could be the case that he's well balanced. I don't know for sure. I never made an opinion or an assertion in that regard when he first came out. I was always like, I'm going to remain skeptical and reserve an opinion until I have a fucking opinion. Right? I'm not going to jump on he's broken. He's
right. Yeah, that makes sense. It's probably for the best. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I've never been like that in life. I can't do it with Tekken. So it's just with the way the game is going now, would it be in their best interest to course correct things in our favors? Yes, absolutely it would, and I can tell you why. Because the things that we're complaining about that are objectively wrong with the game right now are not things that are at all going to interfere with the stuff that's making them a fuck ton of money from the casuals at the moment.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So they have nothing to lose and everything to gain. All you're doing is potentially making your long-term customers stay longer and happy because of the changes that you'll make. And you can still continue to appeal to the casuals with the tit sizes and the fucking bikini outfits and the fucking Tekken shop and all this garbage, right? Fine. If that's what they're into, great. But those people stick around for all of 5 minutes and they're out.
Yeah, sure.
If you want to keep your long-time people around as long as we've been around and keep us happy and spending money on this fucking game because you're going to charge an arm and a leg for a fucking year's pass to release, 4 characters that we might not even fucking want, but we're going to buy the pass anyways because we support the game, we love the game, if you want us to keep doing that, you better listen to these people, guys like you and me, because we're the ones that are going to keep this game alive and play people like us. and the casuals are only going to, they're like life support before the game's even dying. You know what I mean? Like that's what they are.
No, it's true. It's true. It reminds me a lot of it reminds me a lot of what ended up happening with the Nintendo, right? Like Nintendo, when they made the Wii, like this really casual friendly thing that made a lot of money, right? Because a lot of casuals came in. But they burnt a lot of their third party developers. And when the Wii U came out, like there was no real support because the casuals were like, well, I already have a Wii. I'm not buying a new one. I'm perfectly fine. Right. And the developers were like, well, we're not really going to support this. So the Wii U ended up kind of falling into this they had burnt the hardcore audience, the kind of people who would always be there for you, like, and spend all the big dollars. And like in order to court the casuals, and it took almost like a correction system afterwards in the form of the Switch to kind of win back their claim. And I feel there's a similar thing here where they are courting this casual market to make a lot of potentially short-term profit, but they aren't the people who are going to stick with the game long term. They're not the ones who are going to get more people into it, make tutorial content on YouTube to get more people in. Like they're not going to stick with it. And then when you try to release your new game, well, you've burnt the diehards who would be the first adopters, and the casuals probably won't jump on board because like, well, I'm onto the new thing now. So I do worry that they could end up walking that path if they're not careful. But maybe they're not thinking like that. Like a lot of corporations are just thinking one quarter to the next. They're not thinking long term. They're not incentivized to do that.
Yeah. And I kind of get why they wouldn't think long term in this case. I mean, Harada's straight up said he's got one game left in him after this, and he's out. Right, like this is his second to last hurrah. Right, so and I totally get that. He's probably not alone in that regard either. He's just the one that we heard say that. Right, I'm sure there's lots of guys on the team that are feeling the same way because they've been on the team for 30 years themselves. Right, so and I totally understand that. So they might not be thinking long term, but I think. If, like you said, Nintendo is a fantastic example. Like, if success is something that you're looking for, then looking at your peers for what not to do is the best thing you could possibly do. And I hope that they have enough sense to do that. Because look at Street Fighter. You don't even have to go look at Nintendo. Look at Street Fighter, for example. Street Fighter 5 is basically Tekken 8, right? But they did Tekken 8 before Tekken 8 did it.
Right.
They fucked the game. They made the fans mad. It bombed in sales. It bombed in tournaments. Tekken 7 overtook Street Fighter for the majority of its lifespan. Tekken 7 was the biggest fighting game of that era.
Right, it was for a long time. Right? For a long time, yeah.
Yeah, for a long time because Street Fighter 5 was so poorly received. So they course corrected. Now we got Street Fighter 6. That game is fucking killing it.
Yeah,
like just killing it. And why is that? From what I've talked to, I'm not a Street Fighter guy. I don't know enough about the game to really give my 2 cents on it. But from the people I have talked to about it that are big Street Fighter fans that are not just casuals, like they play in tournaments, they do really well, they're high-level players, they have all said that exactly what Tekken 8 needs to do is what Street Fighter did with Street Fighter 6. They listened to the fans, they course-corrected the things that they needed to fix for the game, but they also made it more appealing for casuals. They introduced the easy mode system, whatever it's called in that game, and they gave it more lighting effects and more explosions, and Juri's got her feet all up in the air with foot fucking people, like all this is the shit that they're doing to appeal to the hardcore casuals, but then the game is still super competitive. The broken characters aren't exactly that broken. It's they're broken, but they're not to the level of Tekken 8. They're so broken that that's all the characters you're seeing in fucking tournaments these days. Like it's in a very healthy spot. Street Fighter 6 is killing it, and Tekken 8 needs to just look to that. Like Nintendo, Street Fighter, you got 2 great examples right there of what to do. Why not just reference them?
But
maybe that's what they're doing.
But this is actually a really good point, and it's worth exploring because I think they're definitely doing that. They're definitely looking at Capcom and Street Fighter and being like, okay, what can we learn from this? But I actually suspect that one of the biggest problems that Tekken has had is that it's possible to learn the wrong lessons, right? I'll give you an example. Here's my reading of what's happened. And again, I'm not in the rooms, I'm pulling this out of my ass. It seems clear to me that Tekken 7 was a simplified game in many ways to Tekken Tag, certainly, but even to Tekken 6. And it did well. And so the lesson they might have taken from that is simplify equals good. right? The more simple we make it, the more popular it is. And you can understand how a rational person might make that conclusion, right? It's not irrational to make that claim, right? You would to make that read. And my point is, it's entirely possible to look at games and be like, aha, if we focus on offensive, when the game was overly defensive, it didn't do that well. But if it was overly offensive, it do this. Or people are complaining watching Austin Ash in Evo finals, backdash Olympics, right? The backdashing stuff. It's like, oh, if we want to make the game more exciting to watch, we need to make it more offensive and more flashy. You can totally understand how, again, rational people have looked at this and made those calls. But it's the difference between intelligence and wisdom, right? You can see how you made those calls, but actually those insights were misguided. You've seen the wrong things. And so my point is, yes, they should look to Street Fighter, but they might take the wrong lessons away. You know what I mean? And so I guess the question is, what should the lessons be? Because I actually think a large part of Street Fighter's success is honestly because it has a fucking 60-hour single player run. Like I could put Street Fighter in front of someone who does not play fighting games, and they can get 60 hours of it, never going online, having a good time, a fun story, doing stuff, maybe even thinking that they're good, going online, beating once, and be like, okay, that's enough, right? But like you could do that. Yeah. Whereas I feel like Tekken is only for people who are ready to go online and play against other people. Like there's nothing else here for you. Even the story mode is like, what is that? Maybe 4 hours, 5 hours of content?
4 hours, if that.
Yeah. Like there's nothing else for you.
Because they had a huge budget for the story mode this time around. Like the guy, I can't remember his name, but he looked at the budget for the story mode and he laughed as a response because compared to what he had to work with for Tekken 7, it was night and day, right? So they went balls to the wall. Like the story mode was great. I enjoyed the story mode in Tekken 8 quite a bit. I'm not a casual fan. I love the lore of Tekken, but I don't play the game at all for the lore or the story. That shit. I could care less. Yeah. But I actually really enjoyed the story.
I thought, I don't know if I've spoken to you about this, but I remember to go back to what we were talking about, pointing at lessons. There's been a lot of debate as to why did Tekken Tag fail, right? Tekken Tag was a letter of love, right? You talk about custom options, there's never been more, right? Pretty much every character that's ever existed in the game, like there was a tutorial mode, there was like all kinds of stuff, and it completely failed. And again, some people have argued, I disagree with this, but some people have argued, well, there were too many characters. And I'm like, no one has ever not bought a game because there were too many characters. Ever. Right? So I disagree with that claim. But some people, that is a takeaway. Some people have said because it was too hard. And maybe that's true. I don't know that I buy it. I know from personal experience, again, because at this point I was a Tekken casual. I think you've been playing Tekken hardcore longer than I have. When I had Tekken 6, and I was having a great time playing Tekken 6, and Tekken Tag had come out, and I was thinking about buying it. But when I watched the reviews, they were like, well, there's no story. And I remember thinking, well, I'm not a competitive player, right? So I'm not really going to go online and play the game. And I already have a Tekken game. It's called Tekken 6. So I'm not going to buy it. And so there was, for me, genuinely, the fact that it wasn't an advancement in the plot meant that there was nothing there for me. Because I already knew that I wasn't a competitive, I wasn't an online grinder at the time. You know what I mean? So like and I wasn't a tournament player. So the competitive whatever meant nothing to me. Like, if I just want to play Leo or play Lily, which were the two characters I was interested in at the time, I can just play that in 6. Do you know what I mean? So, and the reason I highlight this is because casuals make their decisions very differently to the way hardcores play it, which is why it's possible to take the wrong lessons. And I hope I'm curious to know what lessons they take away from the sort of mixed reception of Tekken 8. I wonder what they're thinking.
That's super interesting that you bring that up, because I never even looked at it from that perspective. Because I came away from Tekken Tag 2 with the idea initially of what you just said, that it was way too hard and there were way too many characters. The combination of those two things, and for the competitors, that was the case because the competitive scene almost all but died because there was just you had over 50 fucking characters in this game where every single character has a 100 move list at least, unless you're King or Yoshimitsu, you're looking at 200 plus moves each, right? And now you're not only that, but you have to know 1 to 200 moves for 2 different characters at all times.
To defend against them.
You're not just sticking to your main, you're sticking to your main and your secondary. You better be very damn good with your secondary too.
Yeah.
So that's been the most over-bloated, complex that I think Tekken has ever been in history. Yeah. Not to mention the online environment was fucking atrocious.
That was another thing. Yeah. for sure.
The net code was terrible, and it was a one match and done.
Yes.
One and done.
Yeah.
People are complaining about one and dones now. That's all we had.
That was the norm.
In Tag 2.
Yeah.
So it's brutal that's what we had, but that's what we fucking had, and everybody was just there's also the factor of the clone characters. If you were lucky enough to main Lily, you had Sebastian, so you didn't have to learn anybody else. If you were lucky enough to main Eddie, you had Christy. If you made Lee, you had Violet. If you made Chao, you had Miharu. There were so many characters that had clones that complemented them. Law with fucking Forest Law, and so a lot of players benefited from just playing their main because they got to play their clone and didn't really have to learn a second character. If you were me, I played Kazuya and I had to play Heihachi as my secondary, and it was
learn two different characters.
Murder.
Yeah,
because now they're Heihachi and Kazuya have similarities. They have electrics and hell sweeps and wave dashes and 1-1-2 punishes. Great. But they are so far apart in terms of how different they are in terms of character design that they're night and day. They operate similarly, but they are not the same thing. Far from it. And so I had to be always on point. Okay, what can I do here? I'm Heihachi now. I got a 13 frame down forward 1. Okay, I'm Kazuya again. I got a no, I don't have a 13 frame. Fuck, I gotta figure out what you have to constantly. That's all your brain is doing the entire fucking time. If you're trying to play at a high level. Which back then I admit I wasn't very good at the game, but I at least tried.
But you were trying to, exactly,
yeah. And so it was a fucking nightmare. You'd run into Eddies and Christies, and they'd spam.
Yeah, I hear. Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear the back 1-4 was just like the online Eddie strat, and it was counter hit launching. Yeah, I heard it was notorious.
I'm not kidding, dude. If you got hit by that,
you were done.
With a Christie or an Eddie in Rage, which in that game you had to hit them. So the characters had relationships, right? Kazuya and Heihachi also were nerfed as a team inherently because the side character would get Rage if they liked the character after they get hit a couple of times.
Okay.
But Heihachi hates Kazuya in the lore, right? So in the lore, I'm getting punished because my secondary hates my primary. So I don't fucking get Heihachi's Rage until Kazuya's almost dead. So I'm fucked, right? And I switch over to Heihachi. He's in Rage. Meanwhile, Eddie gets hit in the face twice.
Yeah.
Christie's in fucking Rage. She gets tagged in. She's in Rage already. They've lost hardly any goddamn health.
And then one counter hit back 1-4.
My entire health bar is gone.
Man.
And it was confirmable. It was 14 frames. It was safe.
And shitty net code. Yeah, that seems like the worst. But the thing is, none of this. To go back to my point, none of this was the reason why casual chat didn't buy the game. Because again, I wouldn't have known any of that until I've already. No worries. None of that. I wouldn't have known that until I bought the game. So that wasn't the thing that stopped me from paying the $30 or whatever. Right? The thing that stopped me was the fact that I remember Tekken from Tekken 3 and I have Tekken 6 and I'm enjoying it right now. What's new? And from my casual perspective, it was like, it's Tekken again, but more of it. And I was like, okay, is there a story mode? No. So I'm like, well, I already have Tekken. No, but it's more Tekken. Yeah, but I already have Tekken. But it's more Tekken, but I already have Tekken. Right? I think fighting game developers need to are genuinely underestimating the selling potential of single player content, because right now most fighting game devs, they make it as an online or as a competitive game first, and they'll slap together some single player content. And my view, and I've said this when I was talking about VF6 and what they need to do if they want VF6 to make any movement, it's like they need to make a game with so much single player content that one could buy the game and get 60 hours of content, RPG style, without ever going online. That you need to have that, right? Because at the end of the day, people like us, we actually don't need much to be happy. Give us a good training mode, right? Solid netcode, and decent cast, we're happy. We don't need much. It's the casuals that need the most, right? You need, because you need something that gets you interested in, and also, and this is another thing, the devs have realized that they need to do something to trick you into thinking that you're good at the game. All of us had a period where we thought we were good at the game, and then we go online, we get beaten, right? And that's fine, that's normal, right? And what they did in Tekken 8 is like, well, we're gonna have it so that the first fucking 15 ranks don't count. Right? So you can go into ranked and you're always going to go up, and you think you're good. And I'm like, that's not healthy. The place to do that is in single player, where you have a fun single player and you beat the final boss, you feel all this and yeah, I'm really good. And then you go online and then you get your ass kicked. That's the point. But that's the thing though, because you do need to have a period of just uninterrupted positive vibes first, right? And then you get a rude awakening, and then you have that moment where you decide, am I going to walk away or am I going to try to get good? a lot of people walk away. But if they've had 60 hours of gameplay and they walk away, they feel good and they'll probably buy the next one, right? If, however, you decide, okay, no, I want to get good, that's when they come to the Buff Guy channel, right? That's when they come to my channel. That's when they start watching, okay, Rush PDX, how do I get good, right? That's the thing. And there's that road, that fork in the road happens to all fighting game players, right? And that's why we're all, there's like a brotherhood of anyone who's decided to get good at fighting games, whether you're fucking a God of Destruction or you're fucking Fujin. The second you made that choice of I actually want to get good, we're brothers, right? Because like that path we all have to walk it. Like you're getting your ass kicked, having to learn your bad habit. What's this? Oh, frame data? Or blah, blah, blah. Like we've all walked that path, right? And a lot of people don't. And so I have a lot of respect for anyone who does walk that path. But you need to convince people to take that journey. And that requires, I think, a good single player.
Everything that you just said, and then what I said right before that, I mean, we just laid it out. This is exactly why Tekken Tag 2 failed, because it didn't have anything to appeal to the casuals, what you're laying out here. It had nothing like that. And then what I'm saying is something more from a competitive scene, which it didn't have anything that could appeal to the competitors either.
So they were fucked.
So
yeah,
you had a losing game from the word go.
Yes.
It was a failure.
Yes.
And unfortunately, because Tekken Tag 2 had, again, so much potential to be potentially the greatest game that Tekken has ever seen.
I think so.
And it could have been if it had a good story mode, like what you were saying. If I didn't even think of that, but that is a huge selling point for casuals. My buddy Dylan is a big Tekken fan now, but he wasn't initially. Now he's really gotten into the game. He's picking up Jack. But the story and the cutscenes and the rage arts and all this shit, this is what got him into Tekken to begin with.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So now he wants to learn, okay, how do I beat Master?
Yeah, how do I KBD? How do I do all the boring stuff? Yeah, but that comes later. Yeah. That comes after.
That comes later. You need that initial, what's that first selling point? Totally. What's that thing that's going to give them that dopamine level that's going to make them go, oh, I need to see more of this.
Exactly.
I need to come back again. And Tag 2 had none of that, and it had nothing to keep the competitors involved. So where the fuck was that game going? Yeah. Like Tekken 8, at least, Tekken 8 has a lot there for the casuals.
Yeah, it's doing a lot. It's doing a lot. I think they could do more, but yeah, it's doing more than they did in the past. I think they have learned that lesson to the hard way. I think they realized actually no, because again, they have been watching. Mortal Kombat is my favorite example of this. Mortal Kombat is a dog shit fighting game. I'm sorry, it is, right? But but make no mistake, I care about those characters. Like I will watch the cutscenes on YouTube, and like a lot of people do. And for a lot of people buy every Mortal Kombat, the game that comes out. They play it, they play story mode, they have a couple games online, and they put it away. And they don't feel robbed. They're like, okay, I'll see you again in another 3 years, right? And that's okay for them, right? And that's how I feel like that's how most people play that game, because it's the best-selling fighting game. But everyone recognizes that it's not the best mechanically, right? But the single-player content is there. You almost buy it as if you're buying a season of a TV show. Okay, what's new in Mortal Kombat verse? Oh, this is interesting. Oh, that's cool. They did what with Melina? Oh my god, that's so interesting. And then you put a game down, and then you wait 3 years, and then another one comes out. That's just what they do. And I think Tekken or any fighting game franchise needs to do that. King of Fighters is another great example. King of Fighters came out, the last, what was it called? City of Wolves.
Fatal Fury.
Oh yeah, Fatal Fury. And it was like. And people are like, oh, the mechanics are really good. I'm like, you don't understand. The mechanics aren't what make you into the game. Like, people lock into character. Like, you love Kazuya. You love the story. Like, the story gets you emotionally. And then the mechanics come later. But you've got to hook me in emotionally. Virtua Fighter seems to have realized that too. Like, they're like, okay, we have a beautifully mechanical game. We do. But aesthetically, it's very dry, and there's no story. They've learned that lesson. And I think all fighting game developers have to realize, no, you have to make me care about these people on a narrative level. Get me hype, get me cool, and then I'll learn to KBD. Then I'll learn optimal combo. Then I'll learn all this stuff. But I need to be. You gotta sell me on it first. You gotta sell me on the work before you make me do the work.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so true. There needs to be that emotional appeal to people. People are naturally emotional creatures, 100%. Right? That's just how we exist. And so if there's nothing to draw us in emotionally, like for me, Kazuya, like you said, I was hooked by the way he looked and the way he sounded in Tekken 1. I was like 4 years old playing this fucking game. I could barely reach the controls at the time. It was 1994. The arcade machine had just gotten on the ferry where I was going. It was a brand new experience for the entire planet at this point.
Yeah.
And I was sold immediately on Kazuya, but you know what the thing was that sold me the hardest on that shit was Kazuya throwing Heihachi off the cliff in that cutscene at the very end there. I was like, that's it. I needed more of this in my life. Eventually, they got rid of cutscenes in arcade machines, and I can't even see that shit anymore. But back then, you could watch the cuts. You could always watch the opening sequences. I loved watching the characters.
Yeah.
And Kazuya do his thing with his arms crossed and do his karate punches and kicks and then it says Tekken and the big flashes the screen and boom, you're on the screen where you see the name of the game and what is this shit? It looks cool. Everybody sounds like a badass.
Yeah.
You get into the scene where they're fighting each other in this snowy environment. I remember the first time I ever laid eyes on an actual fight. It was Nina versus King in a snow environment.
Yeah.
And it was computer versus computer and that was it for me.
But everything you're talking about, like I can almost hear the smile in your voice as you're speaking, because again, this is the stuff you fall in love with. But as you get good at the game, you forget it. So you start thinking, the thing that matters is the frame data. This, like, no. The thing that got you into this, whether it's happened in '94, whether it happened in '96, whether it happened in 2003, whether it happened in 2019, typically it's like this thing looks fucking cool. It feels cool. Like that's the get you, and then everything comes after that, and you forget after a while because of course you reach a higher level. But like it needs to feel fucking cool first and foremost. Like I remember like what you're talking about. I did play Tekken 2, but I don't remember it that well. It was one of the many games. My friend was pirating games, so we played a bit of everything. It didn't stick with me. Tekken 3 was the one where I was like, this is the coolest shit I have ever seen. The opening scene, Lei running away from the helicopter, Yoshimitsu like doing the fucking Predator invisible thing with the sword out, like that opening cutscene. Fucking the Laws like in the restaurant doing a flying kick. The older one ducks and kicks him over. Like, bro, like Xiao Yu fighting on top of a cruise. Like who the fuck is this girl? Right? Eddie coming. Eddie like kicks
the guy behind her and then.
Bro, exactly. That's the mistrust kick behind. Fucking Eddie breaking out of a prison and an old guy saving him. Who's this old guy? I don't know. Fucking the Jin with the burning tattoo on the. I'm like, oh my God, this is like, and then you start playing the game, and at the time, graphically, it was stunning. The music is incredible. Like these like you play Hwoarang, you do kick, and he does this like really well animated like kick into spinning kick, and you go, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm amazing. You beat the computer. You beat the computer in easy mode doing these amazing things. Fucking True Ogre fucking flies down and like, nah, I got your ass, right? Like it's the best. Like, that's what it's about.
Tekken 3 changed the world.
Oh man, kids don't understand. Kids don't understand. They'll never understand, man. They'll never understand. They weren't there. You had to be there.
Dude. I remember playing Tekken 3 again on the ferry traveling to the mainland. And I had never seen an arcade so fucking busy in my life. Everyone was lined up outside the door waiting to get in on the Tekken 3 machine at the time. It had just dropped. And I was like, is there a new Tekken? I'm trying to get in and try to fucking play this because I've been playing since Tekken 1, right? I want to play the shit out of this fucking game. But nobody would let me because now everybody knows. Everyone's like,
I feel so bad for people who were there from Tekken 1 and Tekken 2. I'm like, I slept in that game. But Tekken 3, when Tekken 3 came out, I've been a Tekken fan for 100 years. Like, I became that guy. The Tekken was like the coolest shit on the planet. It was so good, man.
Oh, it was so sick, dude. Fuck. And, like, but again, like, we're talking, like, aesthetics and story and the cutscenes and how cool everything looked, how cool it felt to beat the PC against True Ogre after he just blows fire at you and you fucking kick his ass for it. Like, so sick. But then you get into the nitty gritty of it, and how competitive that game could be. And everybody complains about Tekken 8, about how busted a lot of the characters are in this game. Dude, Tekken 3.
I hear those
some of the most broken shit that's ever existed in a fucking video game.
It didn't matter. Didn't matter to us. We were casuals back then. It didn't matter. We were casuals. We didn't care. It was dope.
Exactly.
Was it cool?
I didn't even know about any of it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Was it cool?
I didn't learn about it until like 2001.
Yeah, exactly. Years later, when fucking Ryan Hart's talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that was broken.
Exactly. So stupid. Ryan Hart was the guy that showed me the fucking ogre tech with what's the throw called again? Shit. It's a 12 frame unbreakable throw that guarantees an unblockable after it kills you in one shot. Can't remember what the fuck it was called, but it's down forward. 2+4. Ogre does the throw. It's actually Wang's throw from Tekken 1 and 2.
Oh, interesting.
It's his 2 throw, but Ogre has it in Tekken 3. and he elbows him from behind, and then he can charge as unblockable, and the opponent takes forever to try to turn around, and the unblockable is pretty much homing now, and it's a one-shot kill.
Interesting.
So it was Ogre was a busted character beyond fucking words. Nobody knew about any of that shit back then in Tekken 3 because we were all just playing.
We're all just mashing, baby. I don't care who the strongest character. I'm playing the character who's cool.
Yeah, dude, that's all it was.
Yeah, right? But I remember. But what's interesting is that, so talking about coolness, this is actually something that I've realized that this is me being an unk. I see a lot of Tekken stuff now, and I'll be honest, it's losing its cool factor for me. It's not necessarily that it's less cool, it's just that it doesn't appeal to me, because it seems like every fighting game in reality is like trying to emulate a style of fight scene, right? Like, so it's Dragon Ball, a Dragon Ball game trying to capture like the Dragon Ball-ness, right? Flying around, high speed, beam blasts, right? Beam clashes, right? That's what it's trying to simulate. Yeah. And Tekken historically has been trying to simulate, I would have thought, like sort of action movie martial art fights, right? But it's in recent years, it's kind of moved more and more towards trying to emulate cool anime fights with like sort of like Devil Jin type stuff. Like Miarizo, I can't stand her animations, right? And so even though I totally acknowledge that she's probably well balanced, I remember thinking like, okay, but almost more than the balance, I just don't want to deal with this shit. Like, I don't want to deal with it. I just don't like this.
You don't like looking at it.
I don't like looking at it. I don't enjoy. And again, this is an aesthetic thing. This isn't a fact. So, don't get angry if you disagree. Like, Alyssa's similar to this. Lars similar to this, right? Like, I think a lot of it kind of got introduced in Tekken 6.
They're the ones that fucking started this.
Yeah,
shit.
Right. But I'm also realizing that people like me are probably in the minority, right? People like the sort of the anime nature of it. And so from a developer standpoint, we're probably going to get more and more. We're going to get less and less Lei Wulong, and we're going to get more and more Miarizo and Lars. Right, but that seems to be the.
Yeah,
but that seems like that's where we're getting.
The Lars and Alyssa player opinions. God.
But it seems like that's where we're going to get, because I imagine. I mean, I can't speak for all Gen Z, and of course, every Gen Z is different. But it seems to me like Gen Z didn't grow up with fucking Jackie Chan movies. They grew up with Bleach. You know what I mean? They didn't grow up with fucking, or not even Bleach, but you know what I mean? They didn't, Jujutsu Kaisen, right? They didn't grow, the references that I think are cool, and therefore I think the game is cool for emulating, they don't have those touchstones, right? So I imagine, let me put it this way, right? So I've got a little cousin. If I were to show Lei Wulong to him, he'd be like, oh, look at he's doing funny stances. If I show him Devil Jin, he's going to go, that was the sickest shit I've ever seen. Right, because he's a kid, right? He's a kid who loves Shadow the Hedgehog. You know what I mean? Like that's who he is. And so from a branding perspective, I think it totally makes sense for them to go more and more into this anime direction, which I worry is going to lose me more and more as time goes on. Obviously you can do both. You can balance both, but I worry that they're going to move more and more, because I honestly think Miarizo aesthetically, which made me go like, I'm so done with this game. Like and again, not that she's broken, she doesn't seem broken, not that she's unbalanced, right? I'm sure fighting her will be fine mechanically, but I'm just like, ugh, what are we doing? Clive is similar. Clive is similar.
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from, man. That makes perfect. It's totally reasonable. I mean, like yeah, Miarizu is very balanced and very easy to counterplay, but that's kind of irrelevant when you're looking at her animations. Sometimes the animations are enough to make you just, I don't know, I can't beat this character, because when I watch them fight, it's how I feel about Lars. Yeah, I know the matchup, but I cannot fight that character because I hate watching him on screen, and I hate the sound of his voice. I hate his animations. I hate his rage art. I hate his combos. I hate everything about that character.
B-Fry says it perfectly in the comments. He says visual garbage, and I'm like, that's well put. Yeah, it's a lot of visual garbage. Yeah,
exactly. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. Lars to me is visual garbage, like Miyazu is to you. Visual garbage. I totally get where you're coming from. I'm worried that they're going to keep going down this road as well, because they kind of have been adding more and more and more onto it as the games have progressed. Fuck, Tekken 7, we had goddamn Lucky Chloe, for fuck's sakes. Like, that was the most horrible shit.
But even Lucky Chloe, again, we're not going to be a Lucky Chloe defender, but when you think about her moves, there was nothing magical about them. They were weird because she's dancing, right? But like, even that, I was like, to me, that's like the top end. I can stomach that, because it's a little bit ridiculous, but I can stomach it. it's
also you're talking about the stuff like Miyazu's staff and the blue.
It's the fact that she's summoning a magical spirit staff and spirit tail and like wings flying out. That's where I go. And like even with Lars, like Lars is like obviously flying around and stuff. To me, it's like magic. I'm like, this doesn't look like he's doing physics right now. Like this isn't like a jumping kick. He's flying right now. Like he's fucking flying.
He's flying. How is he sliding across the floor like that, not moving either of his feet? I don't get this.
And when he has heat and he does that fucking, the one that makes me the most tilted is like, you know, when he's in heat and he does that like energy shield into you. Like he does his energy shield and then now you have to block one of his stances. Do you know what I mean? Like he just flies at you.
Den 3?
No, not Den 3. That's another one. That's a magical kick, right? But I'm thinking about like when he's in heat, he has this move where he like charges into you. Like he almost looks like a shoulder charge, but like he's like got electricity around him, so it looks like a shield, and it's plus.
His heat low.
Yeah. And it's like, what is happening? Like, what is happening right now? It's his heat forward 3+4. Okay, yeah, it looks like a shoulder charge, and I'm just like, what is this right now? And like, and then
he hits you with a low, and then he comes right up and does a shoulder charge out of fucking nowhere. It looks like a freaking flying squirrel.
Yeah,
I hate that.
And now he has that bullshit season 2 wall ender where like he summons like the electric slap that you can't do anything about. Like it looks like he's stabbing you with electric swords almost. I'm like, what is this? Like, yeah, this character. But again, people love Lars and it's fine. But like that to me, it speaks to a non-Tekken aesthetic style. But again, I'm realizing that actually this is an old man talking because increasingly that is Tekken. Alyssa is Tekken. Lars is Tekken. I'm just being an old man. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Because if there's one example of it, then you can be like, okay, he's the outlier. But increasingly, I'm like, no, they aren't outliers. Like, Claudio makes sense now. Like, Claudio is absolutely within the aesthetical design space. You know what I mean? Like, is he more ridiculous than Yoshimitsu now? And again, when it was just Yoshimitsu being the freak, okay, fine, we can dismiss him as an outlier. But now it's Yoshimitsu and Claudio and Deviljin and fucking and Alyssa and Lars and Miyazu. So it's like, actually, the martial artists are the ones who are weird. Where's your rocket launcher? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Why are you complaining about not having a rocket launcher? Where's yours? You know what I mean? Like, oh, god damn it. Like, don't ask me why I don't
leave it out of your face.
Yeah, exactly. Why are you asking me why I have guns? The real question is, why don't you have guns? Like, where are your nunchucks? Like, you know what? It's a good point. It's a good point. Why don't I?
Like, yeah, why don't I have guns? Oh, shit. I guess everybody's supposed to have guns. I mean, fucking Victor's got a gun.
Just everyone. Victor's got a lightsaber. Like, what's going on? Like, yeah, sure. Like, you know what? You're right. Right. Why don't I? Dude. So fucking dumb.
Yeah. Oh. It's such a ridiculous. Yeah, I don't like. I love that you brought up Lei, by the way, earlier, just a second ago. You're like, it needs to be. It's going to be less Lei, more because Lei, of all the characters I've ever played, I've always been a Mishima guy, just because I've always been the guy like, okay, how can I get the biggest challenge out of it when anything I do in life, right? I want to just. What's the thing that I can do to make it so this is going to be the hardest it's going to be for me? Because I'm a sweat lord and everything that I want to get good at, right? So. I was like, okay, I'm going to stick with Kazuya because he's universally known as the hardest character in the game. Cool. So that appeals to me. Heihachi's pretty close to that. Deviljin. All right. All Mishimas. Yeah. I love these characters because they're super hard to play. They're very rewarding when you do well with them, and they are the best at teaching you proper Tekken. So
that last one I'm gonna challenge, but finish your point.
Oh, I'd love to have that.
Yeah, go on.
So I think maybe not Mishimas as a whole. I'd say that about Kazuya specifically.
I can see that.
Deviljin and Heihachi.
Yeah. No, but finish your point.
Yeah. So my point was that Lei always stood out to me as this really cool. Okay, yeah, the Mishimas are great, but here's this guy over here. He's got
100 stances,
13 stances.
yeah,
and he's all kung fu, and he's Jackie Chan, but I mean, he's straight up kung fu as fuck. Like that's as fucking kung fu as it gets.
I love Lei.
And it's beautiful to watch. When you watch a good Lei player, oh my god, there's this video online of Tekken Tag Tournament 1 tournament, and it's Lei who's bottom tier in that game versus Ogre and I think Devil, who were
is this the one where Aris is watching it? That video's so good. Yeah. Dude, the haha steps.
He just flies has away the whole
So
time.
good, so good.
I lost my shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the coolest character
100%.
in the game. I don't care. Like Kazuya, I'm sorry, bro. Lei is the coolest fucking character. This dude is so sick.
Yeah.
Because he's just being a clown, but he's being a clown with pure martial arts.
So
it's
good.
like you hate it, but you can't help but respect it at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's just that sold me. I was like, I'm a Lei player now. So I picked up Lei and I started playing him in Tekken fucking Tag Tournament 2, I think. And I've stuck with him ever since. He's my turn off my brain, 3 wins all day kind of character. So I love Lei. He's so cool. And I wish Tekken was more of that. I want to see how Lei would be in Tekken 8. But at the same time, I'm nervous because if they Tekken 8ify Lei, it would break my heart, man.
I've had the same conversation with multiple people. It's like, I don't want them in because I don't think they realize stances are contentious, right? And stances have to be balanced correctly. And especially Lei, who has 1 million of them. And it seems clear to me that they do not understand how to balance stances in this game. They just don't. Maybe now with the new team in, maybe I feel a bit more comfortable. But yeah, I was always nervous, being like, don't bring Lei in. Given what they've done to the stances that already exist, I don't know that I'd feel comfortable with you bringing in more. Because it's like, these stances. But yeah, Lei Wulong is super cool. But again, he has that kung fu aesthetic. So, like, that really appealed to me. And even Leo, like, Leo's super boring, but I love the Baji Kwan style. Like, it just looks super cool to me. And I think even, like, Hwoarang, we complain about him mechanically, but I totally understand the appeal of him aesthetically. Those kicks are stylish as fuck. Yeah, Taekwondo's super stylish looking, right? And, like, all these, like, Aikido can look really beautiful when done well. Like, again, I just love the sort of exaggerated versions of martial arts. That's what appeals to me. But again, it seems that they're kind of moving away from that. It's almost like a Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z translation. It's like, it's less about exaggerated Dragon to martial arts, and now it's which we legit just have powers. Like the characters just have straight up powers. It's like, okay, well, that could be fun too, but it's a different thing now. It's a different thing. And I personally think I prefer the older thing, but I can totally understand why new generation or even plenty of the old generation like the older thing. Because even what's his name? Even Fakamra. Okay, he's Muay Thai. That's a real style. Did we need the lightning shit? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that I needed that.
No.
Or the walk up stance. I don't know that we needed that. I don't know that we needed that personally.
No, I don't think we did either. I thought he was a perfectly fine character in Tekken 7. He didn't even really need any super crazy adjustments. You know, give him a heat burst, give him a heat smash. Now he's Tekken 8.
He's Tekken 8. Yeah, he was Tekken 8 before Tekken 8. Yeah, exactly. He was there. He was ready.
Yeah, so he was already like you said, he was pretty much Tekken 8 before Tekken 8 became a thing because he was the first guy to introduce like a guard break and shit, right? So he was we had an example of what this game was going to be from him entering into Tekken 7, and now they've almost gone a step further and Tekken 8ified a character that was already Tekken 8 in that sense with Fakamra. So now if they do bring in other characters from the past, like Lei or Bruce or Bob or Miguel or Julia or any of like Lei and Julia especially are beloved fucking characters. People live and die by these characters. 100%. They're so fucking passionate about them. The players of them are few and far between, but the people who are mains of these characters
they love them
through and through fanatics, right? So for them to do something like, I almost can't even relate because Kazuya to me is still so similar to how he used to be. He hasn't really changed at all, which is unfortunate because he's kind of trash in this game because he hasn't changed. But at the same time, it's a beautiful thing because at least I still get to keep my Kazuya and all your Deviljin mains. I'm sorry, you guys.
Oh, Deviljin, Jesus Christ!
The shit they did to Deviljin is unforgivable.
Oh, Deviljin. I think Deviljin might. I don't think anyone got it worse than Deviljin. I think maybe Eddie. I mean, fuck Eddie forever, but at the same time, there were people who liked Eddie, and Eddie got transformed too. Like, Deviljin and Eddie players got fucking robbed, man.
Yeah. Oh, they certainly, and I would even give it to Steve players. I think.
Oh, Steve, great pull. Yeah, great pull. Yeah, Steve, absolutely. Yeah, King of Counter Hits is no longer the best counter hitter in the game. Not even close.
No, he got robbed. Now he's competing with like 7-8 other characters that are even better at counter hitting him than he is.
Now he's Lion stance the character. I'm like Lionheart stance the character. It's like ugh.
It's so sad to see. Like I got a guy in my chat named Henry is a really passionate Steve player, and you can just I'm not even talking to him and you can just hear it in the text when he's talking about Steve, how upset he is that Steve is who he is right now.
Tough.
Yeah, he's way stronger than he's ever been, but that's not what Steve players asked for. That's not what any Steve player wanted.
No, but that's what's happened. That's what's happened to me. Ironically, like, you know, I played Leo. Leo was always a hipster character. No one ever played him. Had strong tools, and like, but it's happened to me in season 2, where it's like, oh, I actually, part of the reason why I've just not played it in season 2 is because my main got destroyed. Like, and not in, like, my main is more powerful than he's ever been, and I've never been more miserable. I'm like, my main is dumb. Like, when I win, I don't feel good. Like I literally had
people that don't even understand that concept. Like, what do you got to complain about? Like, your main is so powerful now. It's like, that's not the point. That's not the point. Yeah, it's not what I wanted. There was a style of Leo, and it's gone. And it's like, and it's more than, like, again, I had this. We had this. One of the players on my stream last time I was doing a lobby stream, he played Reyna, and me and him played. I was playing Leo, he played Reyna, and we went back and forth. I forget which of us won, but it came down to last round, right? So it was a lot of fun. And I said to him, like, okay, cool, that was fun. Now I'm gonna turn my brain off because this is season 2 late. I'm gonna turn my brain. I'm just gonna do K&K shit. It's like, wait, what? And I botted him 3 rounds straight, and he was like, what the fuck just happened? I'm like, yeah, this is what I. The fact that I have to. Like, I have to make a conscious choice to play real Tekken because I don't have to. And if I do that choice, I'm nerfing myself. Like, it's far better for me just to back 1-4 cancel, forward 4 cancel, forward 4 1-4. Like just play the K&K mix so that I'm always in pseudo plus frames, and you never know when to push a button. And if you're wrong, I hit you with down 4 2+3, which is always strong, right? And now I'm launching you like for dumb damage, even if you're at the wall, because I can just just flip you at the wall. Like, it's the character is super dumb now, and I can't ignore that fact, right? And that you go to duck the K&K 1-4, and you get fucked over by the K&K 1-2 heat.
1-2 into heat, yeah, exactly. Now what you're gonna do? Or like, it's just like I'm just like, what do you do against this? And there were Leo players who I used to play against all the time, and I would just body them because I'm like, well, you have to play real Tekken, and I can beat you at real Tekken. But now it's like, no, I have to guess. Like, I just have to guess a lot. And the way I beat you now is by forcing you to guess before you force me to guess. So we're not really playing Tekken anymore. And like, so much of this game has become that, which is just really, it's been really depressing. And so I don't know if there's any way back for Leo specifically. And which is why I've in this game I've ended up playing like every other, like I play a bunch of different characters because I'm like, okay, well, if I'm gonna have any fun of this, let me play a different character who I don't know how to use. So I would love to enjoy Mary Zoe, but I don't like her, so she's not cool. I would love for there to be a new character who comes out, and I'm like, this character seems cool, I'm playing them. And I'm just going to learn.
You know what? I think you made a really good call with Xiaoyu, bro.
Xiaoyu has been the most fun for me. She has been the most fun for me for sure, because she absolutely has bullshit. No one can deny that. But yeah, she also can't just rely on the plus frame game. So I do have to watch you and think about when to do the shit for sure.
She's fucking weak and she's tricky to play, and I gotta give it to you, man. You opened my eyes on that character. I got thank you for that too, by the way, because Xiaoyu was a character that I have despised for pretty much the majority of my career.
Me too. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I get it. Everybody who's never tried that character before is pissed off about the character all the time. But as soon as you play her, you realize how much work it takes to even get in on the opponent, just because she's got no fucking range to save her life. Yeah. Her punishment is trash. So even if you block something, you're getting fucking 20 damage for it tops. The combo damage she has is shit. It's unreal. Of course, then you get into heat.
Then you get into heat, and then she's a boss character. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Insane. But once you're like. And honestly, her heat smash is crazy from back turn. She's got a crazy heat mechanic with hypnotist stance. But besides that, once you're out of heat, you're back to struggling.
Once you have to play Tekken, So she struggles. She struggles as in neutral. No, but it's fun. But the thing is, this is the thing, and this is why I've told you and other people, you aren't wrong for this. When I first picked up Xiaoyu, I picked her up. My thought was, she seems busted and dumb. I'm tired of using my brain. I'm going to pick a brain dead character. And she was really tough, right? And so I started telling people, hey, Xiaoyu's actually tougher than she looks. And everyone reacted the exact same way I reacted, which is, fuck you. She's dumb. We all did this. I did this too. All of us. But it's only when you pick her up and play her, you go, oh, okay, I can see what she doesn't have. It's so, but you have to try it first. Because until then, you won't believe them. You won't, which is why I didn't fault you too much. So I'm like, I get it. You are saying the same shit I I was saying. You don't, because all you remember is you getting AOP'd on some dumb shit, in some combo. Like, you remember all the things you get hit by, but obviously it's only when you try and navigate neutral with this character, you go, oh, okay, no, she has to earn her ins, right? Which is how it's meant to be. But this is the thing, and so I have some fun with Xiaoyu, but even Xiaoyu's not enough, because here's the thing. Xiaoyu is weak, right? If we're just talking just raw power. And so it's very frustrating to be like, okay, I'm playing Xiaoyu and I'm trying to use my brain, trying to whiff punish you. I'm trying to develop an understanding of your tendencies so I know when to do the AOP or when to do back one, blah, 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 right? So I'm using my brain to play this. And then you just fucking pick Leo. And then you just fucking forward me to death. I'm like, this sucks. Because I am using all, which is why I can, again, now I'll go back to you. Now I can sympathize why Casio players get so frustrated, right? Because I think that Casio's mix-ups, we've had this discussion many times, I think they are really frustrating and they get on my goddamn nerves. But you at least have to set them up, right? And when you are wrong, you have to return to neutral and win neutral again. Whereas there are other characters who just get in once and they are in for the rest of the round, right? And it's like, that is a nightmare. So you're having to, again, try to get a sense, okay, when does he duck? When does he do this? You have to, in order to apply your game plan, you at least have to watch your opponent and react to what they're doing. You better be able to break throws because they're gonna have plenty of opportunities to throw you. You better be able to duck the highs because they have plenty of opportunities to string you up. It's not always going to be your turn. So you have to be solid at Tekken. And then you play against a brain dead Lars player who is just running the flowchart, and you're like, this sucks. This isn't fair. Yeah, we're not playing the same amount of Tekken.
You know what they're fucking doing, and you can't do anything.
It's annoying. It's annoying. It's annoying. So I totally get the frustrating. My only point to casual players is not necessarily that you're wrong, but bear in mind that there are other characters who are also suffering like you, right? But I totally get that, right? Because it's a nightmare. Because when you're playing a character, and there are a few things more frustrating than playing a character who you are applying more brain power than your opponent is. There is just something about that just feels so frustrating. And like this, it's not just the losing. Like when I often have the biggest smile on my face when I lose to someone who's just playing brilliant Tekken, right? And they just beat me. And like, God damn, this guy's good. Like, oh my God, he ducks that. No one ducks that. That's so. The first time I did it, he reacted to it. God, like I genuinely hats off to good Tekken. But so many times you lose, and you're like, this guy just ran the flowchart. He put me through an exam, and I just got the answers wrong. But you didn't actually play good Tekken here. Like, and that happens so often, and it's fine to deal with that when I'm playing Leo, because I'm like, oh, you're gonna make me sit an exam? I'm gonna make you sit an exam, right? I have the option to turn my brain off. But when you're playing a character like Xiaoyu, like guys, you actually don't have the option to turn your brain off. Like, you actually don't, which sucks.
It's unbelievably unbalanced, because there's very few characters in the game that are like Xiaoyu and Kazuya. I would put Deviljin up there with them, and to be honest, I'd probably put Leroy up there with them too.
I can see that.
He's pretty ill-equipped. Mm-hmm. And then there's an argument for Azucena.
I was about to say I would put Azucena in that list for sure. I mean, and to be fair, I think there are probably a lot of characters who are on the borderline who can be brain dead but not as brain dead. Like I think Steve's can be kind of brain dead, but I think Steve's often working.
So sad to hear
I think they're working
because I agree.
I think they're working,
but I wish I didn't.
Yeah. Steve's are working. They absolutely have horseshit, but they are working more. They're not doing Leo shit. That's for damn sure, right? No. That's the thing. There's levels to it.
Steve's are obviously better off than Xiaoyu, Kazuya, Deviljin, Azucena, Leroy, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But Steve is.
But they're working.
Is working, and he's kind of in that middle ground of he should be more like he used to be, but if he was, he'd be way too weak. So how are we going to fix this guy now? It's, I don't know. They have to bring the entire cast down to make it viable for characters like the 6 we just talked about.
But I've said this countless times. I have Xiaoyu players been like, oh, you think Xiaoyu's weak? What buff should you give him? I'm like, Xiaoyu doesn't. There is no buff you can give Xiaoyu that would be better than nerfs to the rest of the cast. Like the buff that Xiaoyu needs is a party-wide nerf. Like there is no. That's it.
In stream today, somebody asked me, "Hey, how would you buff Kazuya to make him more like the rest of the cast?" There's no fucking way.
I don't want it. I don't want it. Nerf everyone else.
No fucking nerf everyone else. I even pointed out some shit that he needs nerfed. Like in my opinion, Devil Stomp is way too strong for that guy. He shouldn't have any broken shit. Mm-hmm. Devil Stomp is absurd in Heat. Yeah. You press down back 3+4, and now your opponent is -11 in a blender.
Yeah, they just have to guess.
Why? Since when?
Yeah.
Have I been able as Kazuya to force a 50-50 in the goddamn neutral?
From neutral, yeah. It's sacrilege. No, but this is the thing, right? There's lots of stuff like that, and it's really. And again, because I play multiple characters, I have found that it's paradoxical. on one hand, I have the most fun playing with Xiaoyu, precisely because I do have to work, and I like working in Tekken. Like, I like the thought that I like. For me, the tough decision making of Tekken is the game. So I like that. At the same time, like I said, it's also frustrating when your opponent. So obviously you want to win, and your opponent is able to leverage way more power with a fraction of the risk, fraction of the effort. That's frustrating. And so for me, because I play multiple characters on the skill or the power distribution, it's in some ways it's more fun the higher up the skill chart you get. So for example, when I'm playing Feng, I feel a lot less frustrated than when I'm playing Xiaoyu because Feng is better. But I still get frustrated when I deal with people who are more bullshit than Feng. Right? And then when I play Leo, I'm having the most fun because there are very few characters more bullshit than Leo. So I'm just like, I can go toe to toe with anyone. Bring Anna. I don't give a fuck. Like, bring Anna. I'll just forward for you to death. It's fine. You want to go dumb? I'll go dumb with you. You know what I mean? Like, we'll both go dumb. Right? So it's like this weird thing. But I'm trapped with Tekken. This is why I stopped playing. I'm trapped. I can either play the Tekken I love and suffer, right? Because I'm dealing with brain dead shit above me on the power curve. Or I can play stuff that is on power curve, is kind of dumb and ugly to me, which is playing Leo. And I'm like, I'm not happy either way. And that really sucks. And this is the first time I've ever been in this position. I hate it. I hate it. But who knows?
I totally understand, man. That's exactly how I feel, man. That's why, I'm back to Tekken, but all I'm doing is labbing. I might play some viewer matches here and there. I might do some quick matches, but I am not going anywhere fucking near ranked. I have no interest. That people are like, oh, Buff, you should get God of Destruction. I don't give a shit about the badge above my name. I do not care at all. I got Tekken God with Kazuya like 4.5 months ago, something like that. I've been stagnant ever since because I don't touch ranked, and I never probably will until season 3 comes out, if it's even worth it. We'll see. But, like, that's good enough for me. I'm fine with that. God of Destruction nowadays doesn't really mean anything anyways, because all the really players are GOD 2 and 3.
There are so many bums at GOD that made me go, I'm not chasing that anymore. Like I've seen so many players. I'm like, because there is a part of you that there is a again a male pride part of you that wants to get the PNG. But like I remember even getting Xiaoyu up to Tekken God, which I did in a short amount of time. But I'm like, this is miserable. This is a miserable experience. I'm not having fun. And so like, okay, but what about GOD? I'm like, no. And the thing is, I could do it with Leo. I know for a fact I could if I just sat down and committed, I could do it with Leo, but I wouldn't feel good about it because I'll body people who don't know the matchup, which is many people, and then I'll fight against people who do know the matchup but can't stop the counterplay. But then I'll come up against characters who have even more bullshit than Leo, and then they'll put me down, and then I'll get frustrated in that situation. I'm like, the emotional up and down of this game because of its competitive instability, it's just not. It is not worth it. In fact, the next video I'm going to make about you, I'm literally going to make a video that is like how to enjoy Tekken 8 unironically, right? And like one of the things is don't play ranked. like that's like number one, don't play ranked. Like if someone put a gun up to your head, it's like you have to play Tekken 8, and we're going to put diodes into your brain to analyze your endorphin levels, and they have to be at a certain level. Like you have to do it, otherwise your loved ones die. What is the strategy? I'm like, number one, don't play ranked. Like number one, don't play ranked. Only if you're playing quick match and like you're winning 20 in a row, 10 in a row, 20 in a row. Okay, then maybe you need to go to ranked in order. But even then, you're only doing it to like push your level up. You know what I mean? So that you get matched up against a higher caliber of player. And then the second you start losing as much as you're winning, go back to quick match. But then you can have long sets against a single person or have lobby matches. Like, but just it's a shit show. And I hope season 3 makes it a game worth competing again. But in this current state, it's a nightmare. I don't recommend it. It's trash.
I mean, as far as competitively viable, competitive integrity in the future for season 3, I could see it. It seems to be going in that direction. Like you mentioned it earlier with the flashiness of characters like Miharizu and where they're, the garbage that's on screen, the visual garbage. Chat said, right? Like that I don't see going away. Unfortunately, that's gonna probably be here to stay for the foreseeable future. Because honestly, now that we have all the flashiness that's on screen, all these rage arts, all these particle effects, like look what we just saw on the screen there with Steve doing his guard break, and the glass shattering effect and the sparkles everywhere, and you're flaming in heat with this crazy heat coming off of your body because all this shit is so visually intoxicating to the average person. There's no fucking way we could go back to Tekken Tag 2 or Tekken 6. There's no fucking way we could do it. It would the game would the franchise would die. So we have to keep up this aesthetic now, the aesthetic appeal to
but like,
unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I hate it. I hate agreeing with you, but you are right. But you are, yeah, you are. I want to be like, no, but no, you're correct.
Too, man.
Yeah, it's
supposed to debate.
No, but the thing is, I'm trying to work out, like, I guess, okay, maybe I will disagree. Is there a way we can have our cake and eat it too? I'll give you an example. Kazuya's Electric Wind Godfist has an electrical effect, right? But I have always felt that the electrical effect is like almost like a metaphor. Like you can almost imagine electricity is not really there. It's just to amplify what is really just an incredibly powerful and unimaginably fast uppercut, right? So it's not literal electricity. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and so my point is, I could totally imagine a situation where like Steve does like a massive punch and you see almost like a holographic lion behind him. You could have it, right? Like you could do that, but he's not literally summoning a lion, right? It's just like, no, it's a vision. My point is, I feel like you can have your cake and eat it too. Whereas like they're just doing martial arts, but there's like all this visual flair. Like fucking Lydia does a thing and you hear the eagle as she does this thing. Like you could do that. You can have your cake and eat it too. I feel like, no?
No, I fully agree. It's just that we can't really do that with characters like Miyazu because she's literally summoning a fucking staff and throwing a fucking aura tail out her ass.
That's
really quick.
There's no way around that.
That shit is actually happening. The character can actually do these things. It's not just a visual effect. That's the part that grosses me out. And that's the part that I think, can we have our cake and eat it too? I think if you did it something like how you just described, fuck yeah, we could.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to?
Are they going to? That's a question. Yeah, for sure.
Man, I'd be super shocked if they did.
Yeah, you're right, brother. You're right. You're right.
No, man, I don't know. All I know is that the thing that I want for my Tekken, I like visual appeal and all this stuff aside, I just want a competitively viable game. I'm tired of seeing the same characters in tournaments.
Sure.
I'm tired of the simplicity of everything. Like, Tekken used to be a way to express. Well, I don't want to say skill, but yeah, people it's a skill expressive game.
It very much was. It very much was. Yeah, it very much was.
Yeah. Now, back in the day, in Tekken 7, 6, 5, whatever the fuck, it was impossible for a scrub to beat a really good player.
Yep.
I'm not talking like a pro, but it was impossible if you knew anything about basic frame data, and you're playing against a day one player who's button mashing. All you have to do is just, okay, you're gonna button mash. I'm going to punish your shit, or I'm going to lock you down with frame traps because I know you're gonna button mash. So I'm just gonna kill you with frame traps. You can't do anything now.
Yes.
So okay, done. That's it. But now, fucking people on that level are able to beat people on my level and your level. Yeah. And it's something that we've never, ever had before in a Tekken in history.
Yeah. And
that's the shit that I think should be taken out first.
But here's the thing, right? Because you're 100% right in that. But that they have said on multiple occasions that this is not a bug, this is a feature. This is what they wanted, right? Because the thing is, okay, this is a bit of a tangent, but it's an important one, I think. Like,
yeah, give her.
One of the fantasies of martial arts is the idea that if we were to eliminate any martial arts, then whoever would win in a fight would typically always be the biggest person, right? The biggest person would always win in the fight, typically, right? The fantasy of martial arts is that, well, actually, through the expert application of technique, you can actually overcome any physical deficiency. You could be a one-armed samurai, but because your technique is so strong, you will beat someone with two arms, right? You could be an old lady, but because your ki is so strong and you have trained for so long, your technique is so powerful that you will beat someone twice your size, twice your strength, right? Like, the fantasy is the idea of the ability to translate mental knowledge / technique or spiritual strength, whatever, into physical power. That's the fantasy, right? And I feel that in martial arts, you kind of capture a bit of that because it's like, if I've labbed the most, if I have the most knowledge, I will win. The idea of like, because I know how to break throws and you don't, I'm going to throw you to death and you can't do the same to me, right? This idea that the winner of the exchange is he or she who has done the most work is part of the fantasy, right? There was a weird fairness to that. That is a large part of the fantasy. And so part of Tekken 8's frustration is like, okay, when I lose to someone who is demonstrating great Tekken skill, I can live with that. But when I lose to the bum who's just like button bashing, or worse, I become the bum who's just going to just forward 4 and I kill you to death. And I don't know my character that well, but I know I'm just plus framing you to death. I'm like, this feels ugly. This feels ugly. This doesn't feel right. Like we're breaking the sort of the spirit or like the promise of sort of the martial arts fantasy. And so I totally understand what you mean when it's like, why their desire to make the game more approachable actually defeats the point, because I like seeing a technique and being like, wow, I can't do that. It's going to take me dozens of hours to learn to do it. I better start practicing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't believe he did that on grand finals on the way people are reacting to fucking, what's his name? To Atif fucking casually sending out 20 uppers mid-tournament. It's incredible. It's incredible, bro. It's incredible. And a large part of the credible is the fact that I know I can't do it. That's what makes it so sick. That's what makes it so sick, right? But if they made it, so would it be better if they made it, well, now everyone can do that? No! The unaccessibility of it is what makes it cool.
Exactly. No, there'd be nobody celebrating. Nobody would be flipping the fuck out. Part of the competitive integrity isn't just the balance of the game, it's the reactions of the people watching this shit.
Totally.
Remember when Eris and Markman would lose their fucking minds at Tekken 7 tournaments and they'd be screaming their faces off? It's like, look at the screen, Michael.
Look at the time. Oh man, going crazy. No, 100%, man. That was it. But again,
like that.
It's all fighting games. Like neither of us are really Street Fighter guys, but we can appreciate the beauty of, like, what was it, Evo Moment 37 when like Daigo fucking parries all of Chun-Li. So it's like we can appreciate that because like that's skill. That's real skill. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's. Yeah, like you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that like in training mode. Like, let alone in the quarterfinals of Evo. Like, you know what I mean? Against one of the best players in the world. Like, what? Like that's what it's about. But again, the difficulty is a key, and like and the risk profile is a key too. Like someone making a risky call and being right can also be really hype, but it's only hype if when they are wrong, they would have got punished. You know what I mean? Like these are key points too. Like moves should be expensive. But yeah, it's just and I wonder if they know that, or if they have realized that, or if we're just spitting into the wind.
That's the thing. They're dumbing down the competitive integrity for no real reason. Because, I mean, what? I can't see the justification in this, because like I mentioned earlier, even a casual player has the potential to beat somebody who's quite seasoned and may be a veteran of this game. That never used to be the case in old games, because it was just impossible to try to abuse the system in that way. Now it's so abusable that you have low-level players that are just able to do incredible comebacks with just basically using their character and not their own skill. It's amazing to me how this is abundant amongst the cast. There's so many characters.
There's a lot.
I'm sorry to say it, but play the fucking game for you. Straight up.
No, it's true. And it's really funny because it's actually the second time I've been here now, because I remember when I first played Leo in Tekken 7. This is back in season 1 when back 1 was still a counter hit launcher. And I remember playing against this Leo player who was really good. He was red rank, which was a big deal at the time, right? And I remember beating him. And we were talking to him on Steam, and he was like, you won, and that's really good, but you're really over-relying on back 1. And at the time, I was like, I don't care. You're just complaining. You don't know what you're talking about. Whatever. I'm glad. Like, I beat you. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't say that, but in my head, I was like, you're just salty. But like looking back on it, if you remember, at the end of season 1, they nerfed back 1. It was no longer a counter hit launcher. And I really struggled for the beginning of season 1. And I realized, oh, fuck, he was right. I was very much being carried by this move. I didn't know it at the time, but I was very much being carried by this move. And the irony is, I'm a better Tekken player now because that move was nerfed, right? If you had asked me as a player, do you want this move to be nerfed? I would have said no. So like winning. But the irony is, actually, them nerfing that move has made me a better Tekken player. I imagine a similar thing has happened to Azucenas. People played Azucena when the game first came out, and they were doing running 3-2, and they thought they were good, right? And they were bodying everyone running 3-2. Then running 3-2 got nerfed, and it's like, their win rate tanks, right? And a lot of people probably leave the characters, but any Azucena player who's stuck with the character is probably an infinitely better Tekken player now than they would have been if the move had stayed. And that's the thing. A large part of it isn't just about having the best win rate. It's about improving yourself, as cheesy as that sounds. It's about improving yourself and using the tools, getting better at using this set of tools that don't change. Like that's the thing. And there are a lot of players now who really think they're good at this game, and I can understand it, right? I understand why they think that. I mean, the win rate says everything, right? But it's like, no, you're being carried. You're being carried by the moves, and you don't know it yet. And the question is, will they ever come to know it? Or does the fact that they think they're good and that makes them keep playing and buy costumes, maybe the devs go, no, we need players to think they're good. The more people who think they're good, the more of a market we have. Maybe that's the calculation they've made. And if so, it'd be a real shame for everyone involved.
This casual who thinks he's really good is going to buy these outfits.
Yeah, exactly, because he's amazing.
Really good, and he wants to spend more money on this game
Absolutely.
that he's really good at because he loves it so much.
Right.
He's really good at it. No, it's. I totally agree. There's a good chance that, you know what, like people exist like that. You're an example of that. You just admitted to something beautiful. You were relying on a move too much. Now you become a much better Tekken player for it since they've nerfed that move, and now you're an amazing Tekken player. So. What does that say? What does that say? To me, that's good fucking evidence that shit is possible. We can have people have their toys taken away and they can learn to adapt.
But here's the thing. Here's my question. How many people would react the way I did, which is like, I'm in now, I want to get better, and how many people would just walk away? You get what I'm saying? Like, what is more profitable from a financial standpoint? And I that's an open question. Because there are a lot of people when they're losers like us, where we're presented with a difficult thing, it's like, well, I'm in. I'm going to try and rise up. But there's a lot of people who be like, fuck it, I'm going to go play Fortnite. Right? And so if I was looking at this purely as a financial venture, maybe I would be telling the devs, no, make this game an endorphin machine. Like, I don't talk to me about competitive integrity. I want sales. I want numbers of people playing. Maybe it is more profitable. Maybe it's more financially profitable to just do it that way. But, and again, as cheesy as it sounds, all video games are dumb. The only value that video games give you is the ability to sort of improve oneself. That's the only value that they have at all. And I think in that arena, Tekken 8, is kind of a flop. But people who invest in this game aren't interested in that. They don't give a fuck about that. They want to make money. So, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Are they even going to think about that going forward? I don't know.
I don't know. That's indie developer thoughts. That's not fucking, multi-million dollar. Yeah, that's not Bandai Namco thoughts. No, so I don't know, man. Oh no.
Fuck. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I think that the game is at the point right now where we've sold so many copies. Does it really? Can we start tailoring it more towards the competitive players, or I don't know? Are they that greedy that they still need to make millions more from the sales going forward? They're not going to.
Yeah.
Like this, it might sell a few million more copies, but if we just,
no, but like Stacey Deity just said something interesting in my chat. Was like, they simply need massively buff defense. But like, let's game theory this out, right? Let's say they do that. Do you think the number of concurrent players would go up, go down, or stay the same? My honest answer is I don't know, and I could potentially see it going down if the game actually became harder. I could see it, maybe. I'm not saying it would, but I would. If it did, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's inconceivable. I'd be like, that makes sense. Because there's a lot of people who thought they were good, and they realized they're trash, and then they had to make a decision.
If they buff defense, the reason the numbers are so high to begin with is because there's so many casual players. So that's the defense buff is not going to affect them on any level. They're not going to even notice that shit.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think there's a lot of players at suspiciously high ranks who are trash at this game, but they're able to hide the fact that they're trash at this game because there are enough people who can't defend against them. Like, for example, there are good Hwoarang players, we know this, but there are also countless brilliant Hwoarangs, right? Who legitimately think they're good at the game because they're able to snowball over 50% of the player base, right? So yes, they might come up against someone who knows to duck and knows to sidestep, but then even if they lose to that person, they'll just one and done that person, right? And the next person comes along, and then, they don't know when to duck, cool, I win, and I get the rush of endorphins, right? And so because they're able to hover in a mostly 50% win rate, they're able to convince themselves thinking that they're good, but they're trash, right? And the point is, if you get a defensive buff, all of a sudden that player who has spent most of his career, let's say Tekken King, Tekken Emperor, right? All of a sudden he gets nerfed. He's in blue ranks. He might quit. I can see him quitting, right? Because his options are quit or get better, and he might be like, "Fuck this." They've ruined the game, right? That guy will go on Twitter and say they've ruined the game, right? Because from his perspective, they have, right? That's how they react. You get what I'm saying? So maybe from a business perspective, don't do that. Let's let the Asuka players think they're good. Let's let the fucking Hwoarang players think. Let's let the season 2 Leo players think they're good. Let them, right? There's more money to be made if they think they're good than if we let them see the truth.
Are those people going to stick around for the long term, though? I mean, they weren't here in the beginning, clearly, because if they truly think they're good now, they were either getting their fucking asses kicked, and now all of a sudden they're doing really well, and they think they're good. Great, that's not a you change. That's a system change.
Yeah.
Are they going to stick around for the long run, going forward, even if the game doesn't adjust itself?
Yeah,
that's the question I have, because those people
are.
I don't even think that those people are relevant in the conversation, because yes, they've contributed some money to the game, but if you're of the mentality that you're really good and you're gonna play this game because your character is super broken, and then things are gonna change for you and you're gonna leave the game at point, I mean, I don't see them sticking around. But the time playing this game for them is going to be short lived going forward. Even if nothing changes for them.
I mean, I can see it, but there's one famous example for me, which I always bring him up, which is Hopper. I don't know if you've ever seen him play. He's like a Victor player. In fact, no, you have seen him play. He's the one who made fucking the main man lose his mind, right?
Right?
Yeah, Hopper, right? But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about Hopper. When he first started playing, he was the kind of player we're talking about. Complete garbage. He prided himself on never going to the lab, made GOD just by fucking playing. He played like fucking literally over 10,000 games. So he was like he had played the most games than anyone. Like he was just rank enthusiast, right? Here's the thing. He's actually good at Tekken now, right? Because he's recently taken, I think, Lee to God of Destruction 2, which again, Lee also has issues too, but he requires more skill than fucking Victor anyway. But like the point, the point is, like, he started playing this game, was ass, but the game convinced him into thinking he was good and gave him a nice shiny rank for it. But because he had that good feeling, he actually spent enough time that now he has labbed. Now he does duck highs. Now he can break throws, right? Like he has been gassed up enough that he has now spent the time to actually become a good Tekken player. And so even though, yes, his Victor is fucking the most toxic thing in the world, he actually is a good Tekken player too, behind it. But the only reason he got there, and this is the point I'm trying to make, the only reason he was motivated enough to hit the lab, to learn to break throws, to learn to do that, is because he had enough time where he was just basically gaslit into thinking he was good. Does that make sense? Like he had enough of an endorphin run to now become a good Tekken player. So maybe that's their thinking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see. Okay, but okay. Yeah, if that's the case, then I agree. You got a point there. But is that actually the case? Because when I see Hopper play, I don't see any real Tekken from the guy. I don't see good fundamentals. I see lucky throw breaks.
Have you watched his Lee?
I watched him play Victor against main man.
Yes. Yeah. So this is what's fascinating. When you watch his Victor, absolutely, it is the most brain dead degenerate thing in the world. You are not wrong for saying that. Here's the thing, though. That's how you play Victor. That's the thing, because like that's how you play Victor, right? But what's interesting is that when you watch him play,
Barzine demonstrate some heavy Victor play, and that was impressive to me. I see nothing like that from Hopper.
Sure, so. But my point is, you have to remember that he learned Victor. Like I said, he learned Victor just by mashing. So I actually think his actual Tekken play is better with Lee and as Senna. He played as Lee and as Senna. So like, and he's got them both up to like the god ranks. So my point I'm trying to make is he's good, right? But you're right. You're not wrong for thinking that he plays like trash when he plays Victor, because he plays like a degenerate when he plays Victor, because that's what works. Like he's I think he's GOD2 now or approaching there, like for a reason, because that's how you play this fucking character. But at the same time, I'm guilty of this too. So for example, when I remember back in Tekken 7, the first character I picked up was Lily, right? And I developed a really gimmicky Lily, and then I stopped playing Lily, played Leo. What was funny is every time I went back to Lily, despite the fact that my knowledge got up, the way I played Lily was still dumb. Because that was the only way I learned how to play that character. Do you know what I mean? I had a dumb Lily, right? And so I suspect the same thing happens when he plays Victor. When he plays Victor, he's just like fucking, yeah, plus frame this, do this into sidestep because it works, right? But when he plays another character, you actually demonstrate, okay, no, because he has to duck, he has to break throws, he doesn't get to dominate the turn order the way that he can with Victor. So it's very interesting. But the point I'm trying to make is less about him, but more that he's an example of the fact that there's probably a new generation of players who have gotten good, but the only reason they've gotten good is because the game has like given them maybe a month or 2 months or 3 months of making them think that they're good. And so they are sufficiently warm to the game that they're now willing to put in the time, right? Like, oh, look at me, I've been playing rank for now. I've gone up and up and up and up and up in the ranks. ignoring the fact that you literally can't go down in the ranks for the first 10, right? But that illusion works on people because it makes you feel like, okay.
It inspires them.
Exactly.
It inspires them to maintain some type of consistency with the game.
Right. And so imagine, so imagine you're playing Victor and then like, ooh, the main man, this would be pretty good. Oh, I won a game against the main man. I'm really good. It's like, no, the game is kind of holding, but you can see what that might do to your head. It might make you go, fuck it, I'm going to buy a costume now. I'm invested. This is my game. I'm going to win Evo one day.
Again, you're right, and I hate you're right that I'm agreeing with you. It's
like maybe that's it seems like that's the trick. Maybe I'm not saying I'm right, but maybe it's worth considering. Or maybe that's what they're seeing, or that's the game they're playing. You know what I mean? It sucks, but there's a dark, twisted logic there, I think.
So, are you saying essentially that there's a good chance that we may never see a healthy Tekken 8 experience, or because of everything we just talked about? Or is it, what
I'm saying is I don't know. Like that was me spending the past 2 hours.
I know we can't.
Yeah.
From your perspective, with everything we just talked about, what is your opinion?
My gut. I don't know either, no, I hear you. My gut is, and I hope to be wrong. My gut is that every character that comes out going forward will probably be in a good state, but that they will not do the work required to get the core game and the core cast where we want them to. I think that they are going to, because that would take a lot of time, it would cost a lot of money, and I don't necessarily know that time and money would translate into any more sales. So I feel that the Tekken we have now is the Tekken we're going to have going forward. I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't think they are going to put in the requisite time to fix it, because why? They're making their money. It won't return to any sales, and any core design changes that money would be better spent on Tekken 9, which we all know isn't that far around the corner. So why spend that time? Why not just milk this game for what it's worth, right? Don't release any more obnoxious DLC characters, fair enough, but like, let's not go back, let's not redesign all these characters. So much work has been done. Like, there's maybe 5 years worth of development work that we would need to undo ultimately to put this into a state to make the couple 100,000 or make the couple thousand people bitching on Twitter happy, but it won't make us any more money. So I think they're going to leave this, they're going to milk it in roughly the state it's currently in, and Tekken 9 will come out and it'll be the game we want. Tekken 9 will be the Tekken 5 to the Tekken 4. It'll be like, okay, we've learned our lesson.
Hope the franchise doesn't die before then.
It won't die. Because the thing is, it's like Street Fighter 5 was ass, but it was still Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So people, that was still the most played Street Fighter game, because that was the game that did it. And now Street Fighter 6 has come out and it's done well. And I think Tekken 9 will have the same arc, where Tekken 5 will be like ass, but season 4 of Tekken 8 will be better than any other season, but it'll still be a good version of an ass game. And then Tekken 9 will come out and it'll be like, yes, this is what we wanted. We're back, baby. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
But
I could 100% see that. That's probably the most reasonable take I could expect.
But I hope I'm wrong, Blair. I would. No one would be happier than me for like season 3 trailer to come out and be like, we have fixed everything, and I'm like, oh, I'm back, baby. Like, I would love that.
It's possible with how fucked season 2 was. That shit made like mainstream headline news. The worst patch in fighting game history.
Yeah.
Debut the other day. Turns out that the whole fighting game community wants to kill each other, and like it was fucked. The entire world was on fire when that shit dropped.
Yeah,
right?
It was crazy.
So if they can break the game so heavily, break an already broken game. I don't know how you do that. An already broken game even harder than it already was in one patch.
Yeah.
So if they can do that, I'm not going to say faith, because I don't have faith in anything, but I have trust in the process.
Yeah.
I trust that they can fix it in one patch. Yeah. But I mean, because I think what they're doing, when they haven't released a proper balance patch in months and months and months.
Yes.
And they're taking their sweet ass time. And that to me is probably them working around the clock to fix this shit. Because yes, there is still a lot of problems with this game. And I don't know. I held hope for season 2 and I got fucked over, and now I'm holding hope for season 3. Maybe I'm just a sucker for punishment, I guess. I don't fucking know.
No, it makes sense.
I just want my Tekken back.
100%. And to be fair, obviously I've laid out the worst case where they just leave the game as is, but there's also a possibility that actually, ever since the launch of season 2, they have realized the scale of the changes they need to make, which is why they've made no balance page changes throughout the year. Because they're like, no. This needs to be there's no point doing piecemeal. What we need to do is massive. So the reason they've done no changes throughout the year post the initial couple is precisely because they know they want season 3 to basically be like a new game, like Tekken 8.5. Yeah. And that is possible. That is also possible. And would also make sense. And if that's what happens, I will be very happy. So that's the most optimistic case. And it is possible.
So, okay. All right. So I have a question now for you.
Go ahead.
That's it's been. I wanted to ask you this for the longest time because we just haven't had a chance to talk. Life is busy and shit, whatever. But your experience with Kazuya, we touched on a little bit about my experience with Chaoyu a little bit ago. But I want to know. I'm going to go take a piss real quick. I have time to think about this, but I want to know. Give me your thoughts on the character with your unequivocal, fucking honest as fuck thoughts on the character before that experience, and I want you to contrast it with your experience and how you feel about him now.
I'll give it to you. I'm ready.
I want to hear that shit, dude.
Go to the bathroom. It's about to be crazy. Everyone in the chat, get ready. About to unload on this character. No, it sounds good. Yeah, go empty your bladder. I'll be back. I'll be here. Oh man, Kazuya, the Mishima. The Mish? Papa Mish? Or the Mish Prince? As a first-time Kazuya main, he's not hot. He's just difficult to win consistently with. I hear that, P-Dem. I hear that. I love forward. Everyone after I finish the round with you're taking over, by the way. Nicely done. I feel powerful. Yeah, forward is correct. I love that move. That move was sick. Nah, down back 4 was the one for me. I was like, damn. That was the move that I'm like, stop talking about electrics. This move right here, down back 4, it's the shit. That shit is like putting someone in prison. That shit was crazy. I'm like, what you mean I'm plus? What you mean I'm +4? What you mean? That shit was great. Good range. Good press. Down back 1, 2. Feeding families. 100%. That move was good. Yeah, he has a lot of simple moves. No, Kazuya was fun. Kazuya was fun. Not that much fun, but fun. I see why people like playing him. What's this? Chikarin versus... Who's am I watching right now? Oh god, watching these matches. Let me put the volume up. Oh, there you go. You back?
Yeah, back.
All right. Okay. So, Kazuya. So here's the thing. My opinions on Kazuya didn't actually change, but because I feel that I had a good read on Kazuya. So for me, I think here's my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Mix-ups have always been a dirty word in Tekken. Typically, most characters mix-ups are kind of like really fake. With sufficient knowledge, you can get around them for the most part. Kazuya often had situations where he could set up really scary mix-ups, but even then, with good movement, you can get around them quite well. This is always kind of like the trade-off. The problem I had with Kazuya before I played him was like, okay, but if you, and this is the thing that I think I underestimated your frustration. If you know how to play Tekken, he has more than enough to force even knowledgeable people into really disadvantageous situations where they have to guess poorly. This is always my thing. So I felt that like Kazuya was really good at making you guess. So for example, if I get hit by Kazuya's down back 4, like I still don't know what to do. I'm like, what do I do now? Like, what do I do now? Right? Like, I'm in a real bad situation. If I mash, I'm in trouble. Right? If I step, there are 2 really strong options that can get me. Right? So oftentimes my response is, I'm kind of just gonna stand there. But if he knows I'm gonna stand there, then I'm at risk of like his full mix. So there's a lot of times. So there is a mind game there. It's not as binary as like they say K and K for whatever. But the point is, there are so many times where I'm defending against Kazuya. I'm like, oh man, I have to guess. And so because of this, I was like, okay, when I play Kazuya, I'm going to try and recreate these situations, right? Where I just force my opponent to guess, and that's kind of what I did up to Tekken King. right? Now, here's the thing. There are other characters who do this way easier, way more powerfully, and way less risk. Because in order to do the game plan, I'm still applying some risk, right? When I do this. So I think if it was ever implied, I'm like, oh yeah, Kazuya is just like having a free time and everyone's having a good time. Like, no. Kazuya is absolutely on the workers list. He's absolutely working class in this game. Make no mistake, right? But at the same time, his game plan is still, I find, very much one that I find frustrating, but within legal realms, which is just like, I have to guess. And that's what I find really frustrating. And that's okay. That's a valid game plan. But I always wish the Kazuya players would acknowledge that. That was always my pet peeve. Because I'm like, there's nothing wrong with being a mix-up character if you acknowledge that you have a mix-up. But it was when it's like, no, everyone else is doing stance mix-ups and doing mix-ups, and my character is just playing honest footsies. I'm like, no, your character is a mix-up god. He always has been. That's what makes it. I assume that's why. Exactly. Totally. That's what always bugged me. There always seemed to be just a mismatch between the way people spoke about Kazuya and the way he was played. Because is Kazuya one of, if not the hardest character to actually learn to pilot at a maximum level, or even a competent level? Absolutely. I have never claimed he was easy, and in fact, playing him only confirmed that fact. Because I was like, damn, right? Like, because I don't have access to electric, because I can't do it with the consistency, right? Like, I'm having to use these like poking tools, which are suboptimal. So I really am having to like use the full extent of my Tekken knowledge. I have to be able to whiff punch, which I can do pretty well. I have to be able to break throats, which I can do pretty well, right? Like, I can't coast. Like,
that's what I noticed kind of watching your Kazuya is you're a really great Tekken player, and that's what you were
totally
winning with.
I had to be carried by that. Absolutely. Yeah, you can't. That's my point. You can play Season 2 Leo and be a poor Tekken player and have great success. You cannot be a poor Tekken player and do well with Kazuya. And I think that was the point you were always trying to make, and I think that definitely came across, both while I was playing it and while I was using it. But my point was never that Kazuya was like an autoplay fucking Victor brain dead character. My point was like, when I'm playing against a skilled Tekken player, I'm playing against another skilled Tekken player, and he is using Kazuya, it's frustrating as fuck. That was always my argument. I'm like, damn, because he's putting me in these situations where there is no good solution. That was always my argument. And I think that...
No,
and that was always my feeling. But like, if it ever came across, I was like, oh yeah, this character's easy, brain dead. No. Absolutely not. And no one can ever make that claim. But there was this idea that a lot of Kazuya players would have, is just like, oh man, like my character is like playing this super just honest game. There's no mix-ups. I'm like, no. There's mix-ups here, like, and they're really powerful mix-ups. They're just not completely brain dead. There's a difference, right? Like, that's the thing. It's like there's levels to it. Like, it's way more honest than when, say, Leo does forward 4 and now you're -9 and I have to guess. That's horseshit, right? That's very different. That's a very different type of situation. But at the same time, go on.
Can I ask you another thing? Then? So, because before I forget about it, I don't want to interrupt your train of thought, but I suck at remembering shit. So, so when you mentioned down back 4, this is an honest question. I'm not like trying to. Oh, it was a gotcha. No, none of this shit is. I'm genuinely interested in this discussion. So I'm asking this in good faith. So when you get hit by down back 4, what moves exactly from Kazuya are you afraid of personally? So after you eat it down back 4,
for me, it's more the mental stack. So when I go hit by down back 4, I'm like, okay, so what do I do? What are my options? Stand block, crouch block, or backdash, right? So for me, when I get hit by down back 4, I'm kind of like, I should do nothing. But by doing nothing, and this is my weakness as a player. Like when I often play by the frames a little bit too much. So like, okay, I've hit by down back 4, I'll do nothing. And so oftentimes good Kazuya players, when they've hit me with down back 4, they'll know I'll do nothing. And then they will force like either another down back 4 on me, which will just loop the situation, which is not good, or they'll wave dash at me. And if they wave dash at me immediately after, then it's like I now actually can't sidestep in time because I've already committed to not stepping, right? So for me, it's almost a case of just like, okay, I've been hit by down back 4. Even though I'm only -4, being -4 with point blank in Kazuya's face is like, it's just really scary, right? And whatever they do to me next often puts me in another tricky situation. So let's say I'll give you a sequence. Let's say down back 4 into Petricide Fist. Bang. So now I'm -5 again. So I'm like, fuck, now what do I do? And that situation, I often find myself in this situation where I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I'm in this situation where it's like, there are threatening options. And again, in order to apply that threatening option as Kazuya, it's risky, right? Because you have to assume I won't mash. And if I do mash, I can blow you up, right? But I'm not a masher. So at that point, I'm like, maybe I should mash more. But of course, if I mash, I'll die. So it's the psych. And again, this is part of his core design. Fighting Kazuya, as is meant to be, is intimidating. Because I'm like, fuck. Like, he put me in this situation. I'm like, if I make the wrong call here, it's over for me. And his ability to just kind of loop that situation over and over again, even though it's more multidimensional than merely mid or low, it's still a case of like, there are real threatening options to whatever I do here. And so oftentimes, what I find myself doing is just doing nothing. But as you know, if a Kazuya senses that you're going to do nothing, you're at risk of the real power of his mix-up. And so that's what ended up happening. So I imagine you probably Kazuya probably have a harder time against mashers, right? Because obviously he's not able to sustain plus frames. That's how you beat the character. Right. So exactly. So when I'm playing Leo, I'm in your face. I'm just not going to let you play. But if I'm playing a character like Xiaoyu who isn't able to sustain plus frames, I tend to struggle, right? So yeah, that was my experience with the character. So to answer your question of like, what are you scared of when he does Bang Back 4? It's often just like I know that I have about half a second to make a good choice, and if I choose the wrong thing, I'm going to get blown up. And his ability to sort of punish me for not doing anything, which means that I have to mash. But of course, if I mash at the wrong time, I die. So there's a mind game there, which I think is a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed that mind game when I was playing Kazuya, because I was like, okay, let's say I hit someone with a down back 4, and I would almost go through the roulette wheel in my head, like, do I think this person's going to mash, or do I think this person's going to do nothing? If I think they're going to do nothing, I'm going to hit them with another down back 4. Like, if I think they're going to mash, then I hit them with down 4 too. So again, it's a very simple game plan, very simple, but it requires me to do my favorite thing in fighting games, which is like, play the man, right? What do I think the person's going to do? Do I think the person's going to mash? Do I think the person's going to respect the frames? If I think you're going to respect the frames, I have options to kill you for it. If I think you're going to disrespect the frames, I have options to kill you for it. But I still have to read the man. Whereas there are a lot of characters who never have to read the man, ever.
I got such a big ass smile on my face hearing this from you, because you're just describing Tekken, and I just fucking love hearing like that's Tekken.
Yeah, of course. Like, that's my point. Yeah, that's really real Tekken. Yeah, absolutely.
It's so sick to hear that, just because that's not what we're doing in Tekken 8 right now. Yeah. So hearing this type of exchange, like while you're fighting or while you're playing as Kazuya, or even when you're playing Xiaoyu, same type of thing. You have to kind of play the player.
Yeah, play the person. Yeah, exactly.
The character.
Yeah.
You know, I love that there still are some semblances of Tekken in this game with Kazuya and Xiaoyu and characters like them. You know, it's nice hearing that. But like, and also I got to thank you for that, because now I know what to include when I do my how to kill Kazuya.
Yes, please. Because that's a good question. Do you have a default response to down back 4, or are you always playing the man in that situation?
It's an easy default response to sidestep left block. It beats everything.
Sidestep left block. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Because you can block the down forward 2. Usually you can block the down forward 2 in time, but most Kazuyas, I'll tell you straight up, most Kazuyas at the higher level, down back 4 and a down forward 2, great flowchart. If they know you're going to mash. But most Kazuyas are never going to do that flowchart because they're worried about that -12. They don't want to eat -12.
Sure.
So they never throw out the down forward 2. So really, at the end of the day, you've got nothing to worry about. So sidestep left block will beat every single option Kazuya has, except for down forward 2.
I think I hear that, but I think in that video, what I want to see, because again, what you've described is like the actions of, like, say, an intermediate Kazuya player. Whereas for me, I feel like the Kazuya players who make me nervous when I'm playing is they'll do down back 4. And again, like I said, the real option as a Kazuya player, from my understanding, is, do I think my opponent is going to do something on immediate timing or not, right? And so if they're not going to do something on immediate timing, I'll just wave dash at you. I'll just do like, that's my thing. So when even as you said, like, sidestep left block, I'm like, okay, but that assumes that I'm pushing a button. How do I put this? That's assuming that that the opponent, how do I put this? That is assuming that I think the Kazuya player is going to do a button on immediate timing. But I don't think that. When a casual player hits me with down back 4, I'm thinking, okay, he's either going to try and catch an immediate timing option, or he's going to catch me doing nothing. And that's what scares me. Because I'm like, because he's right. If the casual player calls me doing nothing, he's correct. And so even though he's only +4, he might as well be +16. And
exactly. Well, I totally get that. Because like even so, when I made those videos, every single video is about how to beat the character.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. That's so completely separate.
Really
Yes. 100%.
Cannot ever account for that. That's just the player playing Tekken.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That's true.
If they're playing a mind game with you,
you just have to play it.
And you're succumbing to their mind games, and they're in your head, and they're playing better Tekken than you. It's at the end of the day, that's all that really is.
No, that makes sense.
So that's why when I make the videos, I try to go, well, this works.
Yeah.
If they're going to press the button
on immediate timing. Yeah, exactly. And that's what you can do, to be fair. Yeah, because you can't accommodate for every single human tendency. Yeah, that makes sense.
No, exactly. So I tell you, that's why how to kill the character.
Yeah,
how to kill. You know, fucking Leo, how to kill June, not how to kill the players that play them.
But if you're dealing with AO Richie, you should have luck. Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That dude's defense is
incredible. It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah.
Like, broken character be damned. That guy can fuck you up with anybody. Yeah. Right? So
it's so interesting playing. But the thing is, the one, like I said, while I was playing with Kazuya, again, it's almost like there's multiple layers. There's like brain dead button mash layer, in which Kazuya is trash. But then there's also like competent player versus competent player mind game layer. I think Kazuya's situation is really interesting. Like I said, he does effortlessly, I think, put you into situations where you are in real danger. Like you're in real danger. And I find it very, like I said, I genuinely found it a lot of fun. I tag someone with down back, I down tag them off, and I just tell myself, okay, do I think you're a masher or do I think you're a stander? If I think you're a stander, I'm going to hit you with another down back 4. And we're back here again. Okay, how do I think you're going to react to getting hit by 2 down back 4s? You're never going to mash from 1 down back 4, but from 2 down back 4s? Or what if I develop a tendency of always hitting, let's say round 1, I always hit you with 2 down back 4s. 2 in a row. And then in the second game, I'm going to hit you with a down back 4 and then down 4 2. And it works. Right? It's just like, but the point is, like, you're able to create these really simple but deadly patterns with this character, like, and it's just it's like another one where you do like a lot of people complain because of the way I cut it. I was constantly doing down back 1 down forward 1 4, was it the mid high, and like people were constantly saying like, oh, these people are all brained, they're not ducking. I'm like, no, what you didn't see is the second someone ducked once, I started doing down back 1 1 plus. or like the 2. So I started hitting them. So it's like, the point is, I would just spend turn 1 not even really trying to win, just being like, what kind of player are you? And then once when I have that information, I just pick you apart with just down back 4s, down forward 1s. And I'm like, because you can do that with this character, because he has these really strong, simple blocks, which is why the argument like, oh, Kazuya doesn't have that many characters. No, because he's intricately designed. He has the moves he needs and nothing more. Right? Like
game plan is really simple.
It's super simple. And
the game plan is where the intricacy comes in. And that's why I find him so interesting.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. But I just wish that, I just, hearing casual players complain about other people's mix-ups always makes me like, no, your character is a mix-up king. Acknowledge that, right? We can acknowledge it's not as bad as other people's, but it's obnoxious. Let's be real. And then
he was the fucking literally titled the God of 50-50 in every Tekken game before this. 100%. Like, why are people even saying the stupid shit?
That's what often gets me. And then the other thing that gets me is, and you've noticed this with the Xiaoyu thing, is that Kazuya players will often get, and I understand why they say this, they're always like, well, us Kazuya players are playing real Tekken and no one else is trying. And I'm like, that's frustrating, because again, if you play Xiaoyu, you're like, well, actually, hang on. This is a nightmare. Or if you played Azusen, you're like, hang on, this isn't fair, right? And it's that arrogance as aspect of like, we're the only ones playing Tekken and we're not doing any mix-ups and everyone else is doing stance mix-ups and playing bullshit Tekken. It's like, hang on, your character is also mixing people up really crazy too. And like, yes, your character requires skill, but so does many of other characters. And there are plenty of Kazuya players who nowhere near as much as Victor players or Leo players, I grant you. But there are a lot of Kazuya players who actually are not good at Tekken, but they're playing on hitbox and their execution is fucking godlike, right? So they are able to waver at you and apply really scary mix really efficiently, but they're not good. but they think they're good. And that happens. And that happens all the time. I'm sure you've lost to casuals you can tell aren't that good, but they're probably on hitbox. Their execution is solid, so they're able to do the really powerful stuff without any of the sort of human delay that is kind of balanced around. And you're like, this guy, he can't break throws. He can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not ducking things they should be ducking. He doesn't have the, he's Tekken IQ is low, but he's go on.
Yeah, I'll use me as an example for this. So my initial journey with Kazuya in the beginning was like not the beginning, but when I started taking Tekken seriously, which was around Dark Resurrection. It was 2007, PS3. So I decided I'm going to learn how to do an electric and I'm going to learn how to wave dash. And so I spent hours in practice mode for days just learning how to electric and learning how to wave dash. And by the time I was ready to start, you know, quote unquote, beating other players, as I told myself, all I knew how to fucking do was electric and wave dash. I didn't have a fucking clue what a combo was. I didn't know what a punish was. I'd never even heard that term before in my life. I didn't know what spacing was. I didn't know how to break a fucking throw. Are you kidding me? Throws can be broken? I thought they were all unbreakable. Unless you're the fucking CPU, right? So no. I didn't know fucking shit about this game, but my electric and my wave dash were fucking gone. Know, I could do that shit all fucking day.
There's a lot of that.
That is the bad habit that
there's a lot of that. But the problem is not only that. I mean, again, or you know, all aim no brain. That happens in a lot of games. But I think the frustrating thing is that but then because they have spent those hundreds or how many hours to get their skill, they will talk about their Tekken performance as like, no, I'm really good at Tekken. Right. So, for example, you'll have a Kazuya player who, like I said, can't break throws, can't duck highs or whatever, but they can wave dash and electric, and I'm playing Xiaoyu. And then they'll be like, oh, you're playing a bullshit character, and I'm playing real Tekken. And I'm like, and I have to deal with this. I'm like, hang on, you're shit at Tekken though. Like, your electrics are good, you're playing a different character, but you're shit at Tekken. You're actually shit at Tekken. But they won't hear that because they know I'm playing Kazuya. And of course, as is written, if you're playing Kazuya, you are playing real Tekken. Period, point blank.
As is written.
It's like no, that's not the case. Like, yes, there are many great Tekken Kazuya players who play Tekken. There are lots of bad Kazuya players who play Tekken too. It's not the same. Just like there are plenty of, maybe not plenty, but there are some good Alyssa players, right? I won't say plenty. Let's not go too far. But there are some Alyssa players who are better Tekken players than you, Fujin Kazuya. Like, get out of your ass, right? This happens a lot, and and that's the thing that frustrates me. That I feel like both me and like Frame Whisperer have this like need to be like, hey, knock it off, Mishima boys, like knock it off, right? Fucking Kazuya players, knock it off, right? Like,
dude, I'm right there with you, man. I can't stand that. They give the character a bad rap, and I've been guilty of saying shit like, you know, characters are fucking carried bullshit, but and I still stand by
some of them are. Especially if I lose to one. If I lose to Alyssa, fuck you.
Dude, if you beat my ass and you're an Alyssa player, you can eat all the dick.
100%. 100%.
You did not outplay my ass. 100%. I Kazuya.
Exactly. I get it. 100%.
Once the dust is settled and I've had time to reflect,
exactly.
I've done differently. You know, like I fucked that. I should have punished that. And all the mistakes that I made start coming out. Right?
100%. You know, but in the heat of the moment, of course. But the thing is, I don't even fault it. The thing is, a community is made up of many different voices. I think because Kazuya is one of the most played characters as well, and one of the most prominent content creator is a Kazuya player. Like, the Kazuya voice is louder than most of the player bases, right? And so I almost feel this need to be like, hey, look, knock it off, right? Like, someone needs to tell you that you guys aren't inherently amazing because you play Kazuya. I get it. Some of you are, right? But there's a lot of you who are bums. Okay, like, that's someone's got to keep them in check, right? So that's always the frustration that I have. Just acknowledging what it is. And like I said, it's very frustrating if I'm playing, at least back in season 1, if I'm playing Leo and then I beat a Kazuya player. Oh wow, you just beat me because you're playing an easy character. I'm like, okay, but you're really going to dismiss the 999 hours of like skill that took me to actually be able to play Tekken, to whiff punch you the way I did, to actually be able to sidestep right, sidewalk left, like, comfortably, to do this. Like, there is this Kazuya demands certain skills of you, and I think a lot of Kazuya players will acknowledge the skill it takes to play Kazuya to a high level, but then will completely dismiss the skill it takes to play, let's say, an Atsuna, or the skill it takes to play a Xiaoyu, or a skill to play a lot of characters. And I think that's what's really frustrating, because it's not about like, okay, you Kazuya players aren't skills. Like, no, this idea that no, you're the only ones applying real skill. It's that sort of message and that voice that I'm always like, fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. That's where it gets really frustrating. And I get where it comes from, because if you're playing Kazuya and you lose to fucking bullshit Hwoarang, it does feel like, hang on, I've done way more work than this. But sometimes, go on.
I can tell you why there's a lot of frustration from Kazuya players like that in a lot of ways. And this is kind of what we signed up for as Kazuya players. Sure. So I don't know why it's so frustrating, but at the same time, I do get the complaints a lot of the time. For example, there will be times where I'm playing against a player who's about my skill level, and they play Hwoarang, for example. The other day, this happened the other day, and I got pissed about it. It was just a quick match, but I got angry at just the what Tekken is right now and what it always has been. But as a Kazuya player, I feel it even deeper, right? So, because it's like, for example, the Hwoarang did, what was it? It was a fucking right flamingo stance shit again. Right flamingo 4-3. That bullshit mid string.
Oh yeah, that still makes me angry.
Virtually no counterplay to that fucking string. It's unbelievably busted how good that shit is.
Yeah.
Hwoarang players won't hear that, but it's true. I have a video, laugh the fuck out of that string in that video.
You don't even, thing is, you don't even need to go into the full video. The deal with Hwoarang has always been this. He is allowed to mix you up, but he is risking his life when he does it. If he wants to sustain pressure, he either needs to commit to lows, which are death on block, or highs, which can be ducked and launch. He cannot sustain plus frame options and go for the mid. That was always a deal. If he goes for the mid option, he gives up his turn. Oftentimes going to get raw punished, right? And if he wants to sustain pressure, he has to go for a risky high or a risky low. So giving him a plus on block mid is like such a evil thing. They broke the contract. They broke the contract. We had a deal, Hwoarang. You don't get plus on block mids. If you want to be plus, you have to go high or low. And if I call you out on it, I get to murder you. That was the deal.
Exactly. That's how it's been since the dawn of fucking
time.
It's insane. So that happened. I ate that string on block, and I sidestepped right, and he went for I can't remember what the fuck the move was, but he went for fucking up 4-3+4 because he was trying to trade with my jab or something. He thought I was going to bait out his jab. It's a 14 frame move. We were going to trade, and then I can't capitalize on a combo and whatever. So, or was it 3-4? No, it was just 3-4. Same thing. 14 frames. He wanted to trade with my jab and win that exchange because more damage means you get +5 and your opponent's a -5. Even if you trade, whoever takes more damage in that sense loses that exchange in frame rate as well, right? So I didn't jab because I figured he's going to go for his 3-4, which is a mid-high. So I sidestepped, and I went for my electric whiff punish. And my electric was dropped. I got it down 2. And in that moment,
it's like, this sucks. This is
unjustified.
I understand
that. This is the problem with Kazuya and with Kazuya players. Kazuya players feel entitled to be super, to be worshipped because you're so fucking, you put all this time into learn this electric. And great. You put more time in practice mode, but half of that time that you put in practice mode was just learning the fucking electric. The other half is learning Tekken, right? So you put more hours into the game than the other player that's playing Hwoarang, but they put 6 hours into practice mode learning Tekken. You put 12 hours into practice mode. Only 6 of that was Tekken.
But also I can also see the frustration being, and this is defensive, like sort of the Kazuya frustration, because even in my short time with him, I could totally see it. It's like, okay, I sidestepped this move. But in order to get juice out of it, I have to perform this complex input. And if I fuck it up, I miss out. Meanwhile, if I was playing pretty much any other character in the game, I could, and I had the read, I could just press down 4-2 and get the same result, right? And that frustration of there are so many situations where it's like, I have to be so much better than the average in order to get the average result. That situation is frustrating. And that happens in a lot, because even when I'm playing Xiaoyu, there'll be situations where I'm like, man, I wish I could just force plus frames on you, or I could do this situation. So it's not that I don't get it. It's not that I don't get it. But as you just said yourself, you signed up for it, right? So it's like, hang on. There are plenty of other characters in the game where you can have a down 4-2. The reason I don't play that is because there are things that I take pride in fighting against, but execution isn't really one of them. I feel fairly confident as if I wanted to, I could learn to play a high execution character. But that's not really what gets me high in fighting games. What gets me high in fighting games is like, I lapped the situation where if you do this option and I AOP at this exact moment, I get to launch you. And I found it out. And so in a match, I'm going to pull it off. It's transferring knowledge into skill. Execution, I don't really care about. That's not really what I'm about. That's not really where I seek my difficulty. And I find that way more engaging. Whereas like I think Kazuya players like, no, I find execution engaging, which is valid. But then I guess here's how I'll phrase it. Kazuya players view themselves as the norm, which is incorrect, right? Like Kazuya players are like, oh, your inputs are easy because you have a down forward 2. Your inputs are easy because you have this. I'm like, no, my input isn't easy. My input is correct. My input is normal. You chose a difficult one. So disrespecting me for using the quote unquote easy character is super out of line. I'm not using the easy character. I'm using the correct one. You chose to use the harder ones. You get what I'm saying? That's where it's really frustrating. So there's this sense a lot of times, and I get why it happens, but there's often this sense of using, defining themselves as a norm and everyone else as being easy. It's like, no. We're doing the correct thing. You chose to do the harder thing, and then are bitching at us for having it easy. Like, no. We're not easier. That's not what happened here. You chose the harder thing.
That's the contract you signed when you try to choose that character. Totally. That's what you sign up for. So I don't understand the bitching behind that. I respect the execution and the time it takes to put that you need to get that execution. That is years and years off your life
for
just learning the execution.
For sure.
But that's not anybody else's problem. Yeah. That's what you want to do.
And that's the message I typically want to see. I know, but there's also another thing that really pisses me off, and that is the fact that a large percentage of the players, especially the higher ranks who are playing Kazuya, are playing on hitbox, right? So
that's cheating to me.
Well, but this is the thing, right? So I won't necessarily go so far as say cheating, but like it's balanced around it being difficult to execute with your fucking hands. But hitbox changes that. So hitbox Kazuyas will take the pride of like a stick Kazuya or like a pad Kazuya, like, oh, aren't I amazing because I'm using Kazuya? It's like, no, you're in hitbox. so actually, you actually have all of the strength of Kazuya with like none of the downside. So you're actually busted.
Exactly.
But they'll talk about it as though they are actually working harder than us mere fucking, I don't know, Lily players or us mere fucking Azu players. It's like, no, don't do that. You're chicken cheating right now. Like, you have the best of both worlds.
You can fucking press up and down at the same time. You can crouch cancel by like fuck right off with that entire concept.
Man, I'm telling you, these hitbox Kazuyas piss me off the most, because again they talk because they leech off the pride of you Kazuya players, right, and they leech off the reputation while doing none of the work. And they'll look down their nose at like us mere mortals playing on pad. I'm like, fuck you. You don't get that.
No.
Oh,
that's shit mentality.
It happens all the time.
For the entire, that's what puts the bad. That's what gives Kazuya players a bad rap. That's where you got your idea that fucking, Kazuya play. Like, I love that video. I watched that video of yours where you were like, who would you invite to a party out of all these Tekken characters?
No,
like,
Kazuya players are not invited. You're a special exception. You're invited. You are invited only because you play Heihachi. You get a Heihachi badge. Everyone else, the rest of your clan, they stay at the fuck outside. They're not invited.
Dude, that was the funniest shit I've ever heard.
Man.
But I was to say, the shit that you say is so fucking accurate too, though. Like, Kazuya players will like scoff at the people in the party and just not even want to fucking talk to anybody.
100%, because they're better than us. They're better than the rest of us.
Social fucks, anyways. So it's totally accurate.
It's all funny.
At the same time, I do say often on stream like character privilege, which I will say is a thing.
Sure.
Because there are characters in this game that don't have hopkicks, for example, right? So stop. This is actually a great example.
Having a hopkick is not a privilege. That's the norm.
That's the norm.
It's not a privilege.
But even if it is the norm, right? Even if it is the norm,
sure. It's
like saying a person in a wheelchair versus a person who can run.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. The person who can run is the norm, typically, right? But the person who in the wheelchair can still say the person who can run is privileged because they have that ability to run.
Sure, but don't give me shit for my ability to run. I didn't do like what you want.
Yeah,
like what
exactly.
you want. What you want?
Don't attack the player. Attack the character. Right? The character
don't even attack the character. This is the thing. Don't even attack the character. If you wanted a hop kick, there are so many characters who can have it. You decided, like, okay, I want the Electric Wind God Fist. I want to have these really powerful, simple tools that with good human knowledge I can put together in a really good way. And I made this choice, and I'm willing to forego the hop kick, the down forward 2. Okay, you made the choice. Don't then be like, oh, these characters are privileged with their hop kick. It's not a privilege. You made the choice. Like, I would never call the Electric Wind God Fist a privilege, right? Like, it's a choice that you made. Like, you have pluses and minuses, right? Like, and every character is a collection of pluses and minuses. Like, you don't, like, and you chose to do this one.
I would call Electric a privilege on some level, to be honest. I can't, like, a hop kick is privilege. Safe down forward 2 is privilege. I don't think, you know what?
Safe down forward 2, I'll grant you. Yeah, to safe down forward 2, privilege. Sure, I'll give you that. Yeah, for sure.
I don't think a down forward 2 that's punishable is privilege. I think that's fair. I think that's more than fair.
Okay, I hear you.
I think Electric is privileged on some level because Electric is it's stronger than a hop kick. It's stronger than a down forward 2. Yes, it doesn't launch if you're crouching,
but it's less consistent.
You could die. Huh?
It's less consistent. That's my point. There's a trade-off. The fact that you can say it's good here, but it's bad here is why I go, well, it's not really a privilege. It's a trade-off. It's stronger in these situations and worse in these situations. Like, so it's not really a privilege.
Privilege. I think the privilege comes from the fact that you can pressure with a launcher. That's privilege, right?
And keep out with a launcher. And whiff punish with a launcher. Like, it does everything if you have it in your back pocket. But at the same time, there'll be times where you need it the most and you will fail to come out, even if you're the best player in the world. And that's the price you pay. And I'm like, I don't want to pay that price. I want consistency. I'm a coward. So I want a nice down forward 2 that works every single time, and it's punishable on block. And that's the trade I will make. Right.
Well, that's a smart play. That's why nobody plays Kazuya or Devil Jin in fucking tournaments. It's because the consistency is not there.
It's a nightmare. Yeah, if you're playing for money, playing Kazuya is crazy. Yeah,
first to 2 environment. 100%. So why is anybody even debating this? Like, it's just, you don't see the characters in tournaments because they're inconsistent. Because if you choose a character like that in tournament, you're making a stupid play.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're being a fucking idiot. Yeah. You could just have that down forward 2, that hop kick, and be way the fuck better off and seal the deal and win that $100,000 at the end of the day. But because you're a fucking stubborn dumbass, you chose to use your fucking Electric, drop it, and now you don't have that $100,000.
And something else to say for Kazuya, it's actually something that I didn't consider until I played the character. That trade-off of I will give up let's say hop kick privilege, I'll give that up in order to the Electric. That is such a worse trade in Tekken 8 than any other game, because you are forced to get between mid and low so much more often in this game than any other Tekken game. And so what I love about everyone who knows me, like my Discord is usually called Hop Kick City, right? Because I'm like, if you're gonna make me guess between the mid and the low, I will shamelessly hop kick a lot of the time. I'm like, fuck you. If I read the low, I'm not blocking. I'm not taking minus 13. I'm taking your health. I'm taking your whole health bar, right? And I'm famous for this in my Discord, because I'm like, if you force me to get between the mid and the low, I will very often just hop kick. And if I'm wrong, I take more damage. But if I'm right, you fucking die. I'll take that. Fuck you for making me guess in the first place, right? That's like my feeling, right? And when I was playing Kazuya, the thing I missed the most was not having a hop kick. Because I'm like, oh, I have to eat. When someone puts me in a mid-low mix, I have to eat the mix. I actually have to eat this mix fully. And I was like, damn, because none of my characters lack a hop kick. Whether if I'm playing Asuka, it's Can-Can. If I'm playing Xiaoyu, it's hop kick. If I'm playing anyone else, I have a hop kick. This was the first time I played a character who didn't have a hop kick, and I was like, that more than anything is a real disability. Like, that sucks. That fucking sucks. Yeah. So I'll give you that. And I underestimated the weight of that. I was like, oh fuck, you really have to hold way more mixes than a character who doesn't have a hop kick. That sucks. That actually sucks.
Yeah, it's the lack of hop kick is definitely, well, you know what? Honestly, that's why I think hop kick is a privilege, because there's a lot of characters in this game. I mean, Brian doesn't have a hop kick,
but he has orbital.
He's got an orbital. You're right. Yeah,
which is safe. So I'm like, I'll take that. It's a can. I'll take that.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, so Brian's a bad example, but okay, Heihachi, Devil Jin,
the Mishimas, yeah.
Fucking, the Mishimas just don't have hop kicks.
Yeah.
They're not privileged in that sense. Yep. They can't low crush into an immediate launch.
Mm-hmm.
That is a privilege to me. But
how can it be a privilege when everyone, when like 90% of the cast has it, and the only characters who don't, like, you know what pisses me off? You want to know what privilege is? Reyna. Why did she get both?
That's fucked up.
You want to talk about contract breaking? The deal. We had a deal, Mishimas. You get the electric, you don't get a half kick. That was or down 4-2. That was a deal. What are you doing?
She has both. It's insane, and I get it. The hop kick is 17 frames.
Don't care.
Doesn't fucking matter.
Don't care.
You don't. Who cares? Because it's used to call out a low.
Yes, exactly. I don't care if it's like it crushes. It doesn't take 17 frames to crush. It'll crush fast enough.
No, it crushes on frame 6, just like a hop kick does.
So we're fine. That's horseshit. So that's horseshit.
It's total bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit. So I don't get the Reyna design really at all. I get that they were trying to incorporate waifu with Mishima and kind of blend the two, and that's cool. I appreciate Reyna. She's my favorite female character for that reason.
Sure.
But I still don't think, like, I think Reyna players are heavily kind of like the new. They kind of replaced the Kazuya players as being like the new. I'm an edgy fucking Reyna player. I know I'm a hardcore Mishima player. I know what I'm fucking doing. And then you don't see a single electric from them. You don't see a single wave dash. They're doing down 4-2s to launch your shit. You know, like, you're not a fucking Mishima. You're just playing Reyna and trying to pretend to be a Mishima. Like, they've given those players that sense of self-righteousness that they never really earned, and I think some of the anger is coming out of the Mishima community because of that.
It's so weird. It's so weird because, like, I loved Kazumi because she was like Mishima for cowards, which is why I liked her, right? I was like, if you want to have like the conservative Mishima tools, but you lack the real crack, which is like the electric, I'm like, you get to play Kazumi. And I'm like, this is really fun, right? And in fact, to be fair with you, a lot of what I did when I was playing Kazuya was really just kind of harnessing like my sort of like fucking blue rank Kazumi, right? But like, and just playing really solid, right? Which I love, which is my favorite kind of Mishima play, to be honest. But Reyna's design is, first of all, she's not. I don't think she's broken. Right? So I'm not saying that in terms of tier list or whatever. But everything about her design really upsets me on a spiritual level. Just because I'm like, I think forward 4-2 is like a neutral destroyer, which I think it's just ugly. I don't like it. Right? It's not super powerful. The options out of it aren't crazy. But I just hate. Ever since season 1, I've hated forward 4-2 and what it represents.
I don't think a demon paw should be plus on block, right? And that's what that is. So. Yeah,
right. So I don't like. I mean, I have an issue with all the forward 4-2s in the game. That's just. I think there's too many forward 4-2 equivalents of just like safe, decent reward, low risk. I'm going to end neutral now moves. I really don't like them. But hers is like, I can forgive most, but hers is just really annoying. But then like, yeah, she is the epitome of plus frame stance. Like she represents that fully. And I really don't like it. I don't think she's OP. I don't think she necessarily needs to be nerfed. I don't think any of that shit. I think fighting against her sucks. There are characters in this game who are balanced, but I just hate fighting against them. Like the act of fighting against them is a horrible experience. And Reyna is high up there on that list for me. Really high up.
I agree. I feel the exact same way about Lily, Lee, and Steve myself. I can't fucking stand fighting. I mean, they destroy Kazuya, which drives me fucking nuts.
Yeah, I can see that. Because they can pressure you.
A lot of the things, like, for example, going back to down back 4 for a minute, that's +4 on hit. And I was having a heated discussion with a Jin player, which, fuck, we're like mortal enemies. Kazuya mains and Jin mains, mortal fucking enemies, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to happen to the end of time. And I'm fine with that because I think Jin players are fucking morons most of the time.
Low.
But the issue I have with Jin debates, a lot of the times they'll compare Jin to Kazuya and compare the tools that both the characters have in a vacuum, like Jin's down back 4 versus Kazuya's down back 4.
Sure.
And what Jin nets with down back 4 versus what Kazuya nets. Okay, so Jin gets +3. -13 on block, and it gives a guaranteed follow-up on counter hit. Kazuya gets it's +4 for Kazuya, -12 on block, already better sounding like, right? It sounds like it's better. And then on counter hit, he's +17. It doesn't get any guaranteed follow-up. It's just hella plus.
Yeah.
Cool. Fine. So the trade-offs are more or less fairly evened out, right? Jin gets something on counter hit. I don't. You know, similar frame data. But Jin's only +3s, though. Jin's so clearly Kazuya's down back 4 is better.
Yeah, this is a dumb. I hate these arguments. We've seen them so many times. Like here's my view when it comes to Kazuya bounce. Because you'll notice, even though I complain about Kazuya, I don't think I've ever asked for Kazuya to be nerfed. Right? Here's my feeling. Kazuya has fewer moves. I am okay with all of them being above the power curve. This is the thing, right? I think Kazuya's down back 4 is above the power curve. I don't think that means it needs to be nerfed or whatever. That's fine, right? It's game plan defining, right? Down 4 2 is perfectly well balanced. It's not above the power curve. But like there are plenty like what's his like he has the mid high, but he also has the mid like fist, the punch, right? The down forward 1 extension, down forward right? 2. Down forward 1 2, if you think about it, is like mid strings, safe mid strings are like historically forbidden. And the fact that it wall splats, you'd be like, well, that's broken. But it's not broken, right? He has so few stringy options that giving Kazuya a mid option, I think is fine. If you give that exact same move to another character, I'd be like, it's busted. But on Kazuya, it's fine, right? So the point is, you can't look at moves in a vacuum, right? And the fact that Kazuya has certain moves that are above the power curve, it's fine, because the design, in my mind, has always been, he has fewer moves, but he has the moves he needs, right? Which that's kind of design perspective. So for me, a Jin is the opposite. So Jin's version of all those moves that they share should be weaker because he has more of them. He has a can. He has God parry. He has this. He has that. He has that. So any move that both Kazuya and Jin share, like Jin's should be weaker. Like from a design, they should be because he has more. Like that's the trade-off. Yeah. So it's like So I think that's a bad way of looking. That's how I feel about Leo. Like Leo is a character who has a jack of all trades. So by definition, his version of most tools should be weaker than most because he makes up for it, at least in theory, by having the widest spread. Which is why with each
master of anything, but he's great at everything.
Exactly. So there's never a range he can't fight at. There's never a situation he can't deal with. But then over time, as Leo gets buffed, it's like, well, this is a problem because the number of moves he should have above the power curve should be like almost none. Like I've always defended the down forward 2+3 because I'm like, that's a really powerful low. And that's the move that I'm like, that's clearly above the power curve. And he's had that since back when down forward 2 didn't launch crouchers, since, there wasn't like a good sweeping low option out of forward 4. Like, so I would always defend that low. But with each subsequent buff he gets, that low starts looking like, does he deserve that now? Do you know what I mean? Like having one move above the power curve makes sense. But like, as he gets more and more buffs, I start looking at each individual one and being like, that might be, and he's had that move since forever, right? He's had that move since forever. But now it's like, it might be a bit too much. It might be a bit too much now. And that's the thing. So you have to look at moves in combination with the rest of it. Exactly. You just have to, right? So it's not enough that it doesn't matter that he's had the move since forever. Okay, but a lot has changed around that move. So yeah, I have not had arguments with Jin players in that sense. But I can imagine it being very frustrating. But you can take that to the bank. My argument, I'm going to say it now. If Jin and Kazuya share a move, Jin's should be weaker because Jin has more moves. That just makes sense to me. Like that's how it should be.
No, I agree. Like for example, Kazuya's down 1+2 versus Jin's down 2. They used to do similar things.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jin's down 2 as a counter hit launch.
Mm-hmm.
It high crushed on the 6th frame.
Mm-hmm.
It was an advancing low, so it actually built momentum because it's +4 on hit, and it fucking moves Jin forward with a high crushing property. So he's moving in safely while attacking you. Kazuya's down 1+2 kind of leaves him stationary. He's staying in one spot, but it was also a counter hit launcher. Now Kazuya's is clearly stronger than Jin's
mm-hmm.
In the properties that it does, but Jin's tracks more heavily to both sides. Jin's is +4 instead of being +3.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about Jin having frames, he can do a fuck ton more with fewer frames than Kazuya can. Yeah. That's why I say when you do a down back 4 on somebody with Kazuya, he doesn't have that many options even to respond with besides down forward 2
which is
that are really all that good because he's such a... Everything he does that's scary is slow as fuck.
Yeah. Like
you've got... It's all interruptible. Even being +4 for Kazuya, that's nowhere near enough frames for the Kazuya to get any momentum built. He like 19 frames for forward 4, which is you need to do that move. His down forward 1 is 15 fucking frames, so you're not throwing that out with Kazuya ever. His fucking back 4 homing move, the only homing move he's got that's worth ever using is 17 frames, and it's a high. Forward 4-3 is 21 frames. Devil Fist is 17 frames. Fucking Hell Sweep is 18 frames. Patricide is 27 frames. These are all staples of his toolkit. And they're all slow as fuck. What beats everything out there, even at +4? A down forward 1 will kill him every fucking time. So the only move that he has that can ensure that he's able to continue his momentum is down forward 2. And as soon as that, not only does he lose momentum,
and if you're wrong, you lose momentum. Exactly. So he has to take risk in order to enforce his game plan. Yeah, 100%. Like Jin doesn't. Yeah, exactly. But which is why Jin's design is so. I'll be honest. I've not played enough season 2 against Jin to really comment, because he doesn't seem as obnoxious in season 1, but he seems obnoxious in many ways. And here's a question related to what we're talking about now. And I asked this back in season 1, but I don't think I asked you. In a fighting game, there's always going to be a character who's stronger than everyone else, right? That's just how it is.
Sure, yeah.
Who in the cast would you feel comfortable at their current power level being the most powerful character in the game? So basically, everyone above said character will get nerfed.
Heihachi.
So you feel that Heihachi's power level is like where that should be. So if he was the most powerful character in the game and everyone above him in the power distribution got nerfed down to his level or below, the game would be in a good spot.
It would be perfect, in my opinion. Heihachi is one of the most demanding characters in the game.
Sure.
I personally believe he's the second hardest next to Kazuya, but I've got a lot of evidence to back that up. Sure. But Heihachi is perfect character design, in my opinion, because he's got clear counterplay. If he's very easy counterplay, he's also got very strong tools for him, right? He takes risks on a regular basis. The only good lows he has are all launch punishable. The moment you duck Heihachi and block a low, he's dead. So, of course, the trade-off is you just never duck Heihachi. That's not how you fight that character. Sure. If you're ducking Heihachi on round 1 or round 2, you're a fucking idiot. Yeah. You're not against the character right.
For sure.
They need to show you that they spam any lows at all before you should be ducking or calling lows out at all. Until then, stand guard, because his mids are the best in the game.
Yes.
So there's a healthy balance there already. The thing I would take away from Heihachi is I'd probably get rid of his warrior instinct. That's a little crazy, but the point I'm making with Heihachi is if he ends up being the strongest character in the game, we're gonna have the tournaments are gonna be mind-blowingly fucking awesome to watch.
I can see it. Yeah.
Because you're gonna have people are not gonna be able to play. To just pick up Heihachi and bring him to the tournament and school people with that guy. He's the strongest character in the game.
Yeah.
But no one's going to be able to do that well in tournaments with him because, again, inconsistent as fuck, requires high demand. You want to go with a more consistent character. You'd probably be better off picking the second strongest character in the game. Right?
It's interesting. Point,
come down the line. Like Heihachi is the ideal character. I could never see it being Kazuya. I could never see it being it's impossible.
For me, controversial view. I'm just gonna say I think a game where Kazuya is the strongest character in the game is a bad Tekken game. I'm gonna say it. I feel this way about Zangief in Street Fighter. Because his game plan is one that if that is the strongest character in the game, it's unhealthy. It's a bad game. Inconsistency should be, and it will always be part of Kazuya's game plan. So yeah, I don't think he should ever be the wrong. But Heihachi's an interesting pull. I wouldn't have guessed it, but when you say it, I'm trying to argue against it in my head, and I'm like, no, I see it. So who would be nerfed? Everyone would be nerfed, basically.
The tools that you look for a good character for tournament, for example, is a strong jab.
Sure.
So a strong jab doesn't mean like range wise. You need to have a solid vertical hitbox too. For example, if Miyarizu, there's a lot of moves that do this, but Miyarizu does bow stance 4, which is the hell sweep, right? She goes into bow stance, which is that staff. She's on the stripper pole, and then she does her hell sweep from the stripper pole. That stance, when she enters the stance and you try to go for a jab, Kazuya's jab will whiff. Go over, she'll high crush the jab and kill him. Heihachi's jab will connect.
Interesting.
So he's able to beat her out with his jab. And then people will go and say, well, it's because Kazuya has an 11 frame high. No, so does Heihachi. 2 is 11 frames. So that's not the excuse. Heihachi just has a better jab. He's got a vertical hitbox, and it hits past range 2. So it's a really fucking great jab. So that's, first of all, amazing thing to have for a tournament. What else do you want? You want a 13 frame down forward 1. I know that's very normal thing in this game. Almost every character has that.
Sure.
But you need that.
Powerful.
That's a super
no, of course,
important
yeah.
thing.
You want your fastest mid check to be fast, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the third thing that will round the package out is an easy mode launcher of some kind. So Heihachi he's got 2 out of 3. So I think that he'd be a perfect candidate to be.
No, I could see it. I could see it. You've convinced me. I'm not gonna lie. Like I remember back in season 1, I remember saying that my ideal candidate was Lily. She was very powerful, but like I felt like you were still playing Tekken. But I think that Heihachi similarly, probably even lower than Lily, I would say. But like I can see it. Yeah, no, that's a good pull. That's a good pull. That's a really good pull. Yeah, that's anytime I talk to someone about Tekken, that's always the question I ask. Because I think it forces you to think about. It kind of reflects what you think the ideal power level should be. And also for lore reasons, having Heihachi be the strongest would actually be kind of cool too.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting because I don't think we've seen. I mean, well, in Tag 2, the Mishimas were top tier, but Devil Jin was still a fuck ton stronger than Heihachi and Kazuya. So even then, he wasn't the strongest in the game, and he was up there, but not quite. If he was the strongest now, which I could see happening, because he's clearly the strongest Mishima. Like, we're not even fucking arguing that. Like, that's
Heihachi?
That's just
Devil Jin. Who are we talking about? Who?
Heihachi's the strongest.
Strongest. Okay, cool.
Yeah, like there's no question about that. Like he's stronger than Reina. He's way the fuck stronger than Kazuya and Devil Jin.
Yeah.
I would compare him to Jin. I think Jin's twice as strong as Heihachi, but I think Heihachi's head and shoulders above the other Mishimas. And
yeah, when I fight Heihachi, I've definitely been absolutely blown up by Heihachi's, but I don't feel the same rage. The only time I ever feel angry when I'm playing against Heihachi is when, of course, you have the heat at the wall. But I feel that way against most characters in the game, so that I can't put that exclusively on Heihachi. Yeah, that's a good pull. I respect it.
I'm glad you feel it. What about you chose Lily?
I chose Lily. No, just because Lily definitely has some bullshit, but when I think about her bullshit, I'm like, it falls within the reasonable realms to me. Because with sufficient knowledge, you can play around her. She's very tricky, but she's tricky in a 3D way. I mean, I have no problem with the character. You know how I feel about evasion. I have no problem with it. I like 3D games for that reason. I think she has.
Also requires skill.
Yeah, exactly. You have to make the call at the right time, right? It's not just like stance. I think her damage is great. She has wall carries frustrating, but at the same time, I think her fighting style, her weird ballet fighting style, she should have good wall carry. I don't know. I felt in season 1 that she was the top end of my tolerance for bullshit. Like when I lost to Lily, I was like, ugh, that was kind of bullshit, but I felt okay. Whereas other times where I'd lose to like season 1 Jin or season 1 Feng, I'd be like, that was bullshit. So I felt okay with her being there. Season 2, I don't know that I feel the same way, which is why I could see Heihachi being a more solid pick. I'll post that to the. I'll be interesting to know what people on the channel or the Discord think. But I think Heihachi is a good answer. I think there's probably a few good answers that I could accept. Because I remember when I was speaking to Blackheart and I asked him about this, and he said Azucena. And I was like, oh, okay, so you want the power levels brought down. Like you want the power levels brought all the way down. And he's like, yes.
Totally, that's okay.
Exactly. But again, that question tells me where you want the power level. When you say, hey, you're like, no, I still want characters to be powerful. And I want them to have some bullshit in their back pocket, especially if in heat, potentially. But I essentially, like, this is the level. That makes sense to me. The Heihachi level would be decent. Like I said, when I fight Heihachi, I feel okay. Like I feel okay when I see that on the screen.
And I think Heihachi's also a good pick because if you're capping the strength level with the strongest character in the game, and it happens to be a super difficult character to play,
sure,
then we're still not going to really see a lot of Heihachi in tournaments. Sure. So even the strongest character in the game might not get that much play in tournament still at the end of the day. So we're still going to be seeing a healthy mix of not the toppest of top tier characters, of, competitive integrity. There's going to be a lot of good shit happening at tournaments because nobody's going to be using the top one character. Everybody has reasons to choose the lower characters on the list. And Heihachi to me right now is a pretty mid-tier character, but he's definitely in a healthy spot for the game. I think he could be toned down a little bit, but I think he's in a healthy spot right now as he is for this game. And anybody above him is just at a point of unreasonable. They're just at an unreasonable level that I can't find any competitive integrity with
Yeah.
most of the characters that are above him. That's like 20 plus characters, but
No,
still,
I buy it.
it's
I buy it. No, I see it. No, I think that's a good place to end it. I think that is a great answer, and I'd be curious to know. I'm going to ask more and more people that. But that's a really good point. You're the first person I've had say it. Yeah, I'll make a poll of everyone's thoughts on that. But that's a good one. But yeah, it's been fucking hell. I can't believe it's been like almost 4 hours. Thank you so much for this. This has actually been a good chat. We need to do this again. Come season 3.
Dude.
After a couple months of season 3, we'll catch up. See how we're feeling about the game. Sound good?
I would love to, man. It's been an absolute pleasure, bro. Thanks for having me, man.
No, it's always good. Always good. Have a good one, man. And like I said, if you're a fan of mine and been watching my shit, definitely go check out the Buff Guy and do it now because he's currently going through the entire cast, like labbing them with good detail. But I actually like the detail you go into because it's not dumb detail. It's not like every single move. It's like, no, here's the situations you're actually going to be in. These are the stances you're actually going to have to deal with, which I think is a good. Yeah, I think you have good instincts for being like, you're going to learn everything about any character. Here's what to do. So yeah, definitely go check out the Buff Guys stream sessions. I interrupted your lore one, but I'm looking forward to that next. So yeah, I'll catch you later, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too, brother. Stay safe, man. And thanks again for the shout out.
No worries. Peace.